Magic. Starring Donald Vaughn Griffin, Kieran Torres, Leslie Denneberger, Lloyd Montgomery, and me, the GM, Brandon Blackmore. This week's game brought to you by Sam Adams Oktoberfest. Again, because I like it. So, here we go. Ooh, that was loud. Alright then. A brief recap, because Leslie didn't make it last week, and she wants to know...
I made it till about 10 o'clock.
Oh, that's right. You were here and you had to go. That's right. So you saw some of this. You saw some of it.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Okay. I'm going to recap everything just for the hell of it. So the gang got a tour of St. Benedict's given to them by one of Dr. Fenu's staff. Her name is Olivia de la Barth. She was helpful and properly horrified to learn what happened to the people for whom she had been caring. So, then you went to the impound lot to examine the van in which the vampire murder victims had been transported. Doc Celadon cast a retrocognition spell and found that in the past 6 months, the van had been used to dispose of dozens of bodies. Dozens. The disposal points had been all around Camaret-sur-Mer, but the trips all began at the same warehouse in Crozon. You then went to Crozon in the dark 30 in the morning, staked out the warehouse, seemed closed for the night, so they called Detective Segal, said he should come investigate. While waiting for the gendarme, you were attacked by a werewolf. Or is it a wolf man? Whatever it was, you made quick work of it.
Dr. Moreau. Island of Dr. Moreau was what we came up with.
Okay.
Wait, this is France. It would be Dr. Merlot.
No, oh yeah, that's true, yeah.
In any case, you made quick work of it, because everything burns. So, you discovered that the warehouse is owned, when the police show up, you discover the warehouse is owned by none other than the upper-level Parain gangster, Alexandre Montand, whom you've met a couple of times now, once at the circus, most recently. After giving Detective Inspector Segal the information that you had gathered thus far, you retired for the evening. Unfortunately, Doc Celadon was intercepted by the Tribunal of the Holy Office of the Inquisition.
Never a good thing.
No one expects the Spanish Inquisition.
Well,
See, that was my line.
But they expect the French.
Yeah.
Doc Celadon was vigorously questioned until dawn, then released, when the Inquisitors decided that he did not know anything useful, being, after all, nothing more than a cheap huckster of amulets and potions.
Yes, exactly. I lost a couple of teeth and bled quite a bit. I thought I was a cheap huckster of nothing more than amulets and potions.
And in the morning, Carol Desjardins was invited to the home of Alexander Montand. He was polite and charming and made it plain to Carol that he would kill her if she continued to investigate the vampire murders. She agreed to stop.
and then her off to get back to work.
And then reported the incident to her boss, Anna Petronovich, who did not bat an eyelash and commended her on her work so far. Is that it? Is that everything? Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
You can go now.
I think Donald and I voiced the suspicion just before I left for work that the blood was probably being used to help create these human-animal thingies, possibly. A la Island of Dr. Moreau. I think you pronounced it.
Moreau.
Moreau.
Well, that's okay, because I say it with a Quebecois accent, so the French can't understand me anyway.
So, because that probably was a little magic thrown in, just to be sure. That's what my suspicion is, anyway. So, yeah, okay.
Everybody else shut off their cats, so I'll now show off.
Hi, kitty.
Meow. I'm not showing off any cats.
No, because you don't want to do that to her just yet.
Yeah, the one ear is not going to respond well to me picking her up, so I shan't.
We're missing somebody.
All right, so does anybody have any great mind altering or earth shattering or any kind of ideas as to where we go next and what we do next?
Well, once I have a few ideas of how to get there once we figure out where there is.
What?
But the question is, who do we need to call in?
And since there's actually been a death threat made by a gangster, do we have to do something about the gangster as well?
Oh, and he just made himself a bigger target, so.
That gangster has killed more people this week than would be than the number that would be necessary to take him down.
Yeah, true. Mm-hmm.
Oh, no. Taking him down wouldn't be a problem at all. It's the rest of his organization that I'd be a little concerned with.
Well, granted. One man can always be
Did you ever figure out why the Inquisition was so interested in you in the first place, based on the questions that were being asked?
We can say that you guys have are touching base like the next afternoon, evening, whatever, and let's say Leslie's band is warming up in the background, and during a break, Leslie comes over and you guys talk shop for a bit. Does that sound reasonable?
It does.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Probably because I'm assuming because my name has come up in a couple of current police investigations and probably SIT investigations. So I am a person of interest, and I've probably been a little bit too free with turning people into badgers lately. So I mean, you tone it down a little.
Yeah, unfortunately. Turning them into badges is such fun, I'm sure.
Oh, you have no idea. But be that as it may, this has the information that we currently have has the unfortunate connotation that seems to implicate the head of a major organized crime family in what has to be a extremely lengthy series of serial killings. And I'm not sure I like the implications of this.
Yeah, really.
They would bump it off if they're any.
Especially
These aren't enemies of the organization. These are just homeless people.
Yeah, but what if I'm right and they are using the blood for some kind of vile experiment? I mean, that's also something to be really concerned about.
If I were you, I would be more concerned about them wanting to use your blood in a vile experiment.
True.
And they don't even know about your blood.
No,
I must concerned about them just killing me because he was brutalizing someone when he threatened me, of course. So, I don't see him.
Well, yes, it would make his point.
Yes, but whatever. I don't.
Oh,
Here's
Jesus.
the point, and whatever.
What the? Oh.
Hmm?
No.
Brendan just Googled something he shouldn't have.
Which one was that?
He looks like somebody goatsied him.
That shouldn't have brought this up. Why is this? Hang on.
Did you get goatsy?
I'm gonna turn safe search on and see if that helps. Okay.
I think he got goatsy.
No.
It wasn't even goatsy.
I'm not even going to tell you what phrase I Googled. Because I don't want that to happen to you. Because that was a complete surprise to me. That is not what I was expecting. Okay.
What did you search? Rick Santorum v. Brett Kavanaugh?
No. I was looking for pictures to use for the game, and just a brief phrase, and
Google image search certainly came up with something.
Just.
We don't want to go there.
You don't. I don't want to. No. That was awful. Okay. Anyway. So you're sitting there having your chat. let's have somebody walk in. Hey, I could have somebody come in, shoot the place up, but instead, somebody walks in. This lady walks in. I wanted to bring her back anyway. I like her.
Simone?
No,
Aw.
but I like Simone too. This is
Yeah, Simone rocked. Simone's welcome anytime. She's fun. She was fun.
I like
She
Simone
was
too.
competent.
She was competent. Made you wonder why she's hanging out with Sergey. So
Well, it doesn't matter. Amongst the French, there's what, a half dozen competent individuals in civil service? Present company included?
Carol would know.
Olivia.
I mean, think about it. Carol and Simone.
No, Simone's not civil service.
That's
You're
like
thinking
a
Anna.
third of the competent women in France.
Oh, Simone's a competent woman, but she was the assistant to
Yeah.
Sergey, the
Rabbit.
Yeah.
careless black market magician. Super
Yeah.
careless. He was a rabbit last time he talked.
Yes. But,
No. Doc Celadon helped him get turned back to a human being again.
Yes.
So he owes Doc Celadon big time for that, because yeah, no thumbs as a rabbit. Really limits what you can do. So,
Next time, try for raccoon. They've at least got paws.
maybe so. Okay, were you going to say something, Lloyd? I was blathering.
No, not at all.
Okay.
I was agreeing with Donald that Simon was in fact an exceedingly competent and quite easy on the eyes.
Yeah. Like I say, there's what, 3 sets of those in France. Oh wait, that the Arab woman from
The one you wouldn't leave alone. Yeah.
Afshar. Yeah, she was also fairly competent. But she wasn't French unless Algiers is French. And I think Algiers has had their civil war by now in your thing.
Yeah. That's come and gone in this timeline. Yeah.
Yeah, so she's Arab, so she's not actually French.
So anyway. Who walks in? Olivia walks in. Olivia de Labarthe, Dr. Finu's assistant. And she's looking like she's not sure she's in the right place. Looking around. And then she sees you guys sitting over there. And she walks over to Carol and says, excuse me, Mademoiselle Desjardins?
Yes.
Your office said I could find you here.
Ah, yes. How may I help you?
I have information that I thought you might want.
Oh, all right, fine. 1 minute. Johnny, may I borrow your office, please?
Oh, of course.
Right this way, please, ma'am.
Okay. She goes into Johnny's office and she's looking around. She's like,
It's not very nice looking, but it's secure.
I'm just a little confused. Why are you... Well, it's not... Never mind. It's none of my business. Okay. I thought you would want to know. I happen to be normally we work fairly normal hours. We work a little late into the evening sometimes, but we try to work normal hours. We have a couple of orderlies who stay in overnight in case something emergency happens. But I don't live at the hospital. I live in my own flat. Dr. Finu has her own house out in the country somewhere. So I was working really late last night, and I heard someone upstairs. And I went up, and there shouldn't be anybody up there other than the patients, and they're usually very quiet. Well, there were these men, and they had one of the patients on a cart, and they were taking them away. And I didn't know what to do, so I just followed them. And they put is a young man by the name of Fancy. Anyway, he works on the street. So anyway, he's terribly sick though. So they were taking him away, and they put him in the back of a car, and they drove away. Now I didn't follow them after that. I mean, that seemed like much too dangerous, and plus I don't have my own car. I'd be on a bicycle, and I think it'd be really obvious. But I did write down. She takes out a piece of paper. I did write down the license plate number of the automobile, and I thought that you might find that useful.
I will definitely. Thank you very much for this information.
Okay. Did I do the right thing? Should I have stopped them?
No, you shouldn't have. It was better that you did it this way.
From what you told me, if you hadn't shown me those pictures, I probably would have stopped them or tried to. But the pictures you showed me were just too horrible.
I'm actually glad you didn't. I'm sad for the person who they took away. Hope maybe we can save him, but you would have possibly been added to him. If they, because you have no defense against them, I'm sure. But yeah, I'm only here in this place because these guys are excellent sources and help. It's easier than working out of my own office with these guys. And I'm also doing some undercover at this point myself, which is why I've been going to you and finding all this as well. But I'm glad you're safe. Please try to stay safe in this, and thank you so much for the information. You are being a big help.
Okay. His name is Fancy. I mean, I told you that, but his real name is Lucien. So.
Okay. Do you know what his last name is?
I don't actually. Oh. It would be in his medical files, but Dr. Fanu has those, and I don't think Dr. Fanu has anything to do with this. But I thought maybe it would be better not to tell her.
Yes.
Is that wrong? I don't think she has any involvement in this at all. But
I agree. I agree. Unless we prove otherwise, I will agree. I agree with you. And I will not involve her unless we find him in worse state than he already was in. So, in which case he needs to be identified for the police.
He has a type of blood poisoning called hepatitis that he's being treated for.
Oh dear.
That actually might also be useful. But thank you very much, and please be safe. Do you need a ride home or anything?
No. I took the metro here, so I'll be fine.
Thank you.
I'm here in my lunch hour, so.
Yes.
All right. Well. All right. Well, I guess I've told you everything I need to tell you. Is there anything else you need from me?
No, I don't. Thank you. Except again, please be safe.
I'll try.
All
right. have a good. Thank you, Memsa. And she leaves the office and waves at you guys. The people she recognizes. She waves at Johnny Diamond and ducks out on as she goes by, and she says bonjour, and she leaves.
Actually, you guys could have come up. I just didn't want to do it out in the open, even though it's pretty quiet at this point. But
Gesundheit.
Yes. Apparently, apparently somebody came in and physically. Gesundheit. Some men came in during a late shift after she normally would not have been in there, and took away another homeless person literally from the sick beds of the shelter there.
So apparently they're not taking them off the streets, they're actually taking them from the homeless shelter itself.
But she did mention this one had a blood disease that they could test for. Hepatitis, as they were calling it. But At least, but it's a blood disease, so I don't know how that would affect blood magic or.
Oh, that might cause some problems, probably.
Or if they were truly being
Doc-
vampires.
Doc, would you know for sure whether or not a disease would affect blood magic?
Oh, certainly, yes. Any number of different conditions of the blood would affect the outcome of a spell.
Hmm.
But-
Get,
Yeah.
But I mean, we've got no evidence that they're actually using any kind of blood magic, so, or any kind of black magic. Did she see the people or the vehicle or anything like that?
She got the plate number. She gave it to me. I got it right here. And but yeah, she did. Fortunately she chose not to confront them, or else she probably would have disappeared as well.
probably a good idea, yes, but she did
Yes,
not.
I told her to be careful. Yeah, she was doing right by that, but yeah, to be additionally careful. Anyways, yeah, we at least have the license plate. Here, Johnny, why don't you take it to your police officer. He has a little more ability than I do in this matter.
I'm curious to see what kind of condition the good inspector is in, considering the information that's come to light, that he brought to light, and see what's how his superiors reacted to the knowledge of who owned that warehouse.
Indeed.
Well, then I suppose I should pay the good inspector detector a visit.
Capital idea, that.
So Johnny Diamond heads off to the
Oh.
police department, or what?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. He is going to take a small drinks cart, put it in the trunk of the LaSalle, and he is going to enter the police station wheeling a drinks cart.
Okay.
And is basically he's pulling a test run,
I'll be right back.
and he is simply going to say, "Detective Inspector Seagull," and offer a drink to anyone who asks, and just make his way to the inspector and see how many checkpoints he can not get caught in.
All right. How about you make a manipulation or diplomacy? That'd work
Okay.
too, whichever you prefer. Actually, this is closer to
dip-
diplomacy. So
I was going
diplomacy.
to say diplomacy. I've got a specialty in.
Make some diplomacy rolls. Let's say make 3 of them, and each of them will be more difficult. And I'm going to roll 3 times, and I'll tell you how you do.
Okay.
10, 11, and 17. Those are the numbers you need to beat.
15, 14, and 17.
Damn. All right.
Well, I'm rolling 3d6 plus 6. So those actually aren't very good rolls if you think about it.
Oh, actually, I told you wrong. It is 11. Wait, 7, 8, 9, 10. No, 10, 11, 20. The third one is 20.
Oh, 20.
Yes.
No, I do
mistake.
not make the 20.
But 17, damn, that's really close.
I'm
So,
knocking on the
you-
door.
you
It's
got
2,
past the
3,
front
and 6
desk.
plus 6.
You got past the front desk. You got up into the elevator to the detective's offices, and you are like 2/3 of the way across the detective floor. You pass a bunch of people. You've given out whatever it is French policemen drink in the early afternoon. Probably some kind of cooler. Like a
Campari and soda or something like that.
yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Bunch of Campari and sodas, and you were 2/3 the way there when some guy who does not drink stops you.
Wait a minute.
It's like a teetotaler, a hardcore prohibitionist type person. and asks what you're doing here. How did you get to this floor? Who let you on the elevator? Because there's a guy guarding the elevator to prevent specifically this. For that matter, how'd you get past the front desk?
Oui, Michelle. You know Michelle, the man at the elevator.
So he was on duty. You did not sneak past him.
Oh, no. I am here for Detective Segal. And it's that horrible Quebecois accent that they can
The
get.
guy
It's
is
like
wincing
all
as you.
slurred and mangled. Yes, and
You just
I am
turn your buffet table around and get out of here. You have to.
No. Detective Inspector Segal.
At which point, Detective Inspector Segal, who hears his name being called like over and over again, like opens his door and like looks out, and he's like, "Mr. Diamond, you were late for your appointment. Come in. What have you been doing? Talking to people again. You're entirely too social. It's going to get you in trouble one day. Come on. Come in here, Johnny."
I give the guy who stopped me a shrug and wheel on in.
He glares at you, purveyor of alcoholic beverages. So you go in Detective Skull's office.
Start mixing the detective inspector as usual.
He like pulls up blinds over the windows into his little office. It's a tiny office. He's not in charge of all these people. There's probably like 3 or 4 other guys on this floor who also have offices who are his peers. And then he has a boss who's the chief inspector, which is not him. He's detective inspector. So he's like,
who I will also make a drink if needed.
You haven't seen him or her. Could be a woman for all you know. Anyway, she's like, "Hi, Johnny. I assume this is urgent." And he takes the glass. Thank you. Or you just want to see the
Fairly
office.
urgent, yes. Have
right.
you traced the owner of that warehouse?
Officially, we're not sure who owns the warehouse. There's some problem with the paperwork.
Oh, please, Detective Inspector. Officially,
Yes, officially.
we are speaking as friends, are we not?
Well, as friends, I think we
Am I-
both know
am I
exactly
right?
who owns that
Right.
warehouse. But officially,
Yes.
there was
Montand has
inconsistency in the
already issued-
paperwork.
I say Montand has already issued the death threats.
Wait, what? Against me?
Oh, I don't know about you.
Well, against who? What are you talking about?
No, he has been issuing death threats against those involved in the event at the warehouse. I thought you might wish to know.
Okay, so you're not talking about me. Whew, all right.
That I know of.
Well, I think I would
You
have
may
known
wish
by
to
now.
be careful on the way home.
I mean, it's practically 4 in the afternoon. I would have heard by now.
Oh,
But-
also, a boy with blood disease hepatitis was kidnapped from the homeless shelter by men who seemed to like they had done this before. Would you mind running this license plate for me?
Anonymous tip?
Very anonymous. Would not be able to give any more tips if we're less than anonymous.
No, enough said. So, tell me. Okay, hang on. He opens his door and he goes, Jules, track down this license plate number for me. Yeah. Don't take your time. I'd like that soon. Yeah, we. All right, he closes the door. He sits down. All right, tell me about this anonymous tip.
It seems that not Fast Johnny. It was okay. I'm forgetting what she called him.
Fancy?
Fancy. Well, it went by the name of Fancy.
Fancy? Wait. Because I am a police officer and I know these sorts of things. Let's see if I remember Fancy. I'm rolling this. I'm rolling against that. Yeah, he says, wait, fancy boy walker person? I don't know what the good French word for that would be. A boy street walker? No, I know fancy. I don't
think
know
you're probably
fancy, but I know who you're talking about.
I think it's gigolo.
Gigolo? Gigolo?
Well, I don't know. I think the French term for prostitute is respectable citizen.
But I believe a male prostitute is usually a gigolo.
This is a male prostitute who caters to other men.
Yeah.
Fancy
Which
dresses
very
like...
well may be illegal in the Empire.
That might be also why
I think
he
it's
has hepatitis.
it's technically illegal, but it's not enforced unless you really, really get on somebody's bad side.
And
Yeah.
goodness knows he might have, it might be why he has hepatitis and why he may have something else nasty that hasn't been discovered in the 1960s.
Anyway, but no, I know Fancy. His name's actually Lucien DeMarco. He's been arrested a couple of times. He's not subtle. So he's been kidnapped from a homeless shelter. Do you know which one? He takes out a pen.
St. Benedict's.
I am thinking. I believe it was Saint Benedict. I'm hearing this secondhand. You understand how my sources go.
Oh, I think I understand just fine.
And my sources tell me that he was taken from his bed late at night.
Well, it wouldn't be that. No, I'm sorry. That's bad taste.
By
So,
men.
by whom did your anonymous informant see them, or just see them get into the vehicle?
That is what we have the vehicle license number for.
Can you describe the vehicle?
My informant was not able to do so.
Okay.
I did not speak to the person who saw them.
There's a
But
respectful.
I thought that you would like to know everything that I have learned.
Come in. And door opens up, and a young detective says, "I have the information on that license plate." And he has a sheet of paper, and he hands it to the detective. And Detective Seagal looks at it and goes, "Oh, now that's interesting. I don't suppose you know a fella named..." I got his name here somewhere. I don't know how to pronounce this. Ridwan? Redone. Redouane? I think it's Redouane.
N-E, yeah, Redouane.
Redouane.
Redouane Faïd. He's... Well, we can't
Faïd?
prove it, right?
Faïd.
Yeah,
Name
he's
what? Adam?
Maghreb. He's part of the Maghreb
Maghrebi.
crime syndicate.
His name, I thought maybe he was Arab.
No, I think his parents actually are, but he's part of the Maghrebi crime syndicate. So you're telling me that a Maghrebi gangster went into a hospital for vagrants and kidnapped someone?
Well, no, simply that his car was used for it.
Fair enough. Well, I'll tell you what. I think this is probably enough for the magistrate to give us a warrant to go look into his business
And search his car.
and search his car. Because actually, this is a delivery truck. This license plate, he hands you the piece of paper. License plate is actually for a delivery truck, and it's for a commercial construction supply business, and they've got a warehouse downtown, and I think we can get a warrant and search that.
Detective Inspector,
Hmm?
I have some concern here.
How so? You're the one who
The
brought me the
warehouse-
tip.
The warehouse was Pirane. The vehicle McGrebby. Does this not concern you?
I found that when I'm puzzled about how the facts fit together, that means that I don't have all of them yet. So I think we should just continue to investigate the facts we have, and eventually the picture will become clear. Or not, I don't really care. So as long as the cases get closed. So this is a warehouse in Roskenville. It's on the edge of Roskenville. Roskenville's a fishing district, northern.
Yeah, I think we went there
Part.
one time really early on.
Yeah. Right. So if this is good information, I think we'll find out what happens, and maybe we'll get lucky and we'll find the solution to the whole thing in this construction supply business
Yes, well,
office building.
do remember and remind your associate who checked that license plate. Do please remember that I'm only here to serve drinks and settle our bill at Cafe Azure Americano. We?
Oh, of course. I received this as
I would not like to be assassinated yet again.
No, I would imagine not. All right. Well, thank you very much for your time and the drink, and yeah. I suppose you'll want to know what happens, right?
Well, yeah.
Unless it would cause Kamel Reese to also put a price on my head.
Oh, you looked up notes.
At which point... I did. At which point, perhaps I don't wish to know.
All right. Well, we'll see what happens. Kamel Reese is the head of the McGrebby in Camaret Samir, like the top guy. And who met him?
Snazzy red suit too.
He's a snappy dresser. Who did you meet him, or did Doc Celadon meet him?
I think it was Doc.
Let me see.
I don't know what this guy look like. Let me find him here.
Oh, it's Doc Celadon.
I think it was, yeah, because I think it was while I was being held.
Yeah, Doc Celadon is invited to a meeting with Kamel Reese, who demands recompense for the death of Bernard Gerard, the Count, because
okay.
it was his nephew. And Doc Celadon was like, yeah, because Doc Celadon's the one who put a bullet in his head, and there's actually witnesses to that. I remember that now. If he hadn't done it, somebody else would. But in this particular case, it was Doc Celadon who put a bullet in his head. And Doc Celadon's, I think Doc Celadon's defense was basically, but come on, he was an asshole. And Kamel Reese is like, and Kamel Reese is like, yes, I know, but he was my nephew, so I can't just let this go. And I think it was like, you owe us a debt, I think is how that ended. And Doc Celadon's like, sounds fair. And you've never heard from him again, so he's probably forgot all about it.
Kind of like me with the guy who pulled the assassination attempt that killed Carl. Next time someone pays you to kill me, you let me outbid them first before you.
Yeah. Oh, the necromancer.
Yes.
Yeah, he actually felt bad about that because the wrong person got killed.
We actually have a necromancer assassin who, like, maybe doesn't owe us a favor, but isn't on our bad side.
No, it's not owing a favor, but he definitely left with a feeling that he had not done right by Carl. Because, I mean, if he had killed you, his conscience would be clear. But he feels bad that Carl died. So there's that. Anyway, Kamal Reese is, as far as you know, still is the head of the Maghrebi in Khemri Samir. All right.
At least until whoever's organizing all of this pulls their takeover, which could be interfamily. We don't
Any day
know
now.
yet.
You don't know. It could be anybody.
But yes, I have what I need from the inspector. The inspector has what he needs from me. And I wasn't there as an informant. I was there to hand out drinks and settle his bill.
Absolutely. So you get back to Cafe Azure American, and the evening is going to go by unless somebody wants to do something fun.
What do we define as fun?
I don't know. Do you go antagonize somebody who's going to wind up wanting to kill you?
I've had fun, and that's not it.
Well, once Johnny gets back to the cafe and tells us where the second warehouse is, I suggest that we go by there and just kind of
Yes, I was
Kind of-
thinking the same thing.
Kind of casually, what, Lloyd? I didn't catch the end of that.
casually drive by and see what the police are doing.
And then we can check it out. Then we can check it out later on our own.
Of course, yeah.
All right. Is everybody going? Carol and everybody?
Yep.
Okay. By the time you get there, because, you know, Johnny's got some stuff he's got to wrap up before he can leave, and Leslie's practicing with the band. They've got, like, a couple of more songs they want to practice. By the time you get there, and I assume Johnny's driving his enormous car, you pass. There are numerous police cars. There's a... we went through this. What's it called? The
Black Mariah?
Black Mariah, thank you. There's a Black Mariah. They're putting guys into it. And Johnny actually recognizes several of these guys as gangsters. I mean, he doesn't socialize with them, but, you know, he knows people. So you recognize a couple of them. And you also see stretchers with bodies wrapped in plastic being loaded into ambulances. But those bodies are not going to be going to the hospital. So, yeah. And there's police, and there's cordoned off, and there's, like, policemen, you know, holding back people from... It's a big deal. Around the time you get there, newspaper and reporters and things start getting there. You can tell them because they've got hats with press written on a piece of paper tucked into the hat band. So, or is it La Presse?
Le Press.
Yeah. It's a circus. Any questions?
They managed to get fancy out of there. I doubt it.
No, more than likely Fancy's been drained, but
Yeah.
you know what? Hopefully it'll screw up their experiments.
Yeah.
Poke around as much as possible until the police find
Hepatitis and possibly AIDS. Yeah.
Nobody has AIDS yet. That's still in some monkey tribe in Africa.
We still have the 70s to get through first.
Yeah,
Actually,
yeah.
They don't actually start the disease. Actually, probably did not actually hit humans. It was probably still in the monkeys up until the 80s.
Yeah, could you
Yeah.
imagine if AIDS hit during the 70s? Like 2/3 of the population of the United States would be dead.
True.
Yeah, at this point in time, we're totally looking at, I mean, let's face it, syphilis is the worst. Between syphilis and gonorrhea, that's the worst you're going to find.
And
Oh,
God bless.
no, hepatitis is pretty bad too.
All right. Well, Fancy's got
yeah,
hepatitis.
Hepatitis comes from many other ways.
Yeah.
Probably from dirty needles. I mean, that
it's-
does exist as a thing.
I'm gonna
Anyway,
say
it doesn't
drugs
matter.
for
Poor
hepatitis.
Fancy is probably dead. You don't know. So Lloyd, you said you wait until the circus dies down and the police basically put their barrier tape or whatever they did in the 60s across the, thinking like a sawhorse, like
Yeah,
a sawhorse
saw-
painted with police do not
paint on
cross.
Yeah, Sawhorse is painted with, police markings on it.
There you go. So they prop that up, 2 or 3 of those in front of the doorways of the construction supply company, and carry everybody away, and put a big ass padlock on the front door, and everybody drives away, and eventually the crowd mills about, and newspaper people finish asking questions of bystanders, and then they all leave, and then it's all quiet.
Oh, okay. Then I'll start poking my nose into things, yeah.
Like what?
If I can get into the building, I can't pick the lock, but if I can see a window, I can pass through it.
Wow. Okay, well, everybody's there. I mean, you guys are all there. We're gonna say it's like 7. I mean, it's not late. It's evening, but it's not late, and it's spring, so it's actually still light outside. So it's around 7 o'clock. So you scope the place out. It's locked. There are windows, but it's not really a showroom type place. The windows are just like windows. They're so you can see in or see out, just get light.
If I can see in, then I'll just cast a spell on myself and phase through the wall. I just don't want to phase into a solid object because that would be messy.
Oh yeah, I imagine it would. All right. Well, that's trivial. I'm not going to make you roll for that. So yeah, Doc Celadon says some magic words and walks through a wall. What are the rest of you guys
Open
doing?
a window for us.
And then I'll open up a door or a window to let everybody else in.
Well, the front door is padlocked from the outside, but you go around to the back and there's like a normal human door and a great big ass roll up door.
Open the human door.
Okay. Open it up.
And then look through the place, see what there is to see.
It appears to be the back part is a warehouse. The front third of the building is offices. They do construction supplies. It's kind of like a Lowe's or a Home Depot, but it's all, intended for like commercial stuff. So it's like electrical boxes and nails and 2x4s and
Thermostats and pipes.
And
thermostats.
what
Yeah,
would be
it's that kind
interesting
of
to
stuff.
find out is where, if they're draining the people here, where were they doing it?
Yep.
Obviously
Well,
there are
let's see.
bodies, so
I'll be back in just a moment.
Okay. He'll be back in just a moment. All right. Well, you scope the place out, and eventually you find in the basement there's storage, and then in one room of the basement, all the basement rooms have drains in the bottom, like yay big, with grates, like a shower drain, but like yay big. And in one of those, there's blood on the floor, and it's conspicuously empty. All the other rooms down here are like stacked with boxes and stuff, either boxes of old paperwork or boxes of building supplies. One room is empty, but there's blood. There's dried blood on the floor, recently dried blood, and because you're medical, right? So yeah, you can tell. This is not 10 years worth of dried blood. It's like a day and a half worth of dried blood. And other than that, the room's like empty. Like everything that was in here has been carried away.
by the police.
All right.
Can you-
Do some retrocognition on the room and see if I can find out what's been going on in here.
How far back you go? What are you looking for?
Start with like within the past 24 hours and just wind the clock back from there. I'm looking for evidence of people being killed, essentially, and what method was used. And if I can get sound to hear what's going on, hear what people are saying, then the better.
Okay. I will roll, and you will roll, and we will see what happens.
All right.
Oh, wow. 20. That's what you need to hit.
23.
Yeah.
Damn.
Wow.
Okay. Doxalon casting spells and like is watching. Okay, you're rolling back say 24 hours for this one, and I don't want to make it just like open ended because then you can just it's too easy.
Okay.
So you get the last 24 hours. You back up and to the point there's like lots of people in here and they're taking fingerprints and of course you're seeing it all in reverse, but they're taking fingerprints and stuff. And before that they removed a bunch of things. There was a metal framework with rope and things, and there was a table with a bunch of tubes and medical looking equipment, and there's like something that looked kind of like a bellows or a pump type of deal. Just your variety of horror show blood pumping person hanging from a scaffolding kind of stuff going on. And then those people are gone, and there's just this room is empty with the stuff in it, but it's dark. But I'll give you that for free with retrocognition. So you still know where the stuff is. And then you rewind some more, and then late last night, half dozen guys come in, or rather you're seeing it in reverse, but I'll tell it to you up front because otherwise it's too complicated to think about. So like 4 guys come in. They look like thugs. They're carrying a guy who's wearing a hospital smock, and they take that off of him, and he's clearly unconscious, and they string him up, and they brought with them the medical supplies that were found there and then taken out by the police. So moving backward, you have medical supplies, which are then taken away by the guys who are also taking away the dead guy. It's seeing things in backwards is weird.
It is.
Long story short, last 24 hours. Let me see. I did make that pretty high. I'll give it a 50-50 chance because 24 hours is right on the edge of something. So lower than 7, and you see the thing I'm thinking about, and higher than 7, you don't. 4, you do. All right. Putting it in forward motion because otherwise I'm going to confuse myself. 24 hours ago, this room is full of boxes. 4 guys come in. They clear out all the boxes. They set up a metal frame. They leave. A little while later, they come back with a guy around 19. They string him up from the metal frame. They bring along all this medical stuff. They pump his blood out into the drain. They bring like 3 more bodies wrapped in plastic. They leave those over on the side in this room. They take down the guy who got blood pumped out. They wrap him up in plastic, put him on top of the other ones. Then they leave. And then
they just drained his blood into the drain. They didn't use it for anything.
Then a little while later, police come in. They come in, they like that, and they leave again. Then they come back in wearing medical masks, and people dressed in ambulance attendant type gear, white coats and stuff. They take the bodies wrapped in plastic and they take them out, and police investigators come in and they disassemble the metal frame and they take that out, and then they take all the medical stuff, and then they take fingerprints everywhere, and then they leave, and then it's empty. So that's the last 24 hours briefly. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it makes sense, but it doesn't make sense why they did it. There's just absolutely no motive. They drained the guy of his blood, period.
Yeah, it almost looks like they set it up so that the police could find it.
I wonder.
I saw
Which
that.
would explain why they would be using a Magrebi vehicle when they are terrain.
I saw the guys that they brought out in handcuffs earlier. Do any of them match the description of the guys who were in the retrocognition?
No. Different guys.
Yeah, that smells like a setup to me.
Mhm.
It does, yeah.
And that means that the woman may be in on it. I don't know. Or maybe she just innocently saw what happened.
Which one?
She could have been set up.
She could have seen exactly what she reported. The license plates were stolen from the owner of this warehouse, or the truck was. What happened, and then our true culprits left, leaving their rivals, as it were, to be arrested for this.
Yeah, that's a possibility. And it wouldn't hurt to steal someone with hepatitis blood if you're not using the blood.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
So at this point, it's like, let's say 8 o'clock. What are you doing now?
Oh,
This doesn't look like a fun place to hang around, so let's go hang around someplace else.
Agreed.
And apparently
I thought about having
back-
the police come, like, see you go in and then come in to question you, but I thought that wouldn't be fun. Mainly for them. Oh, actually, I have a better idea. Yes, it's around 8. You guys are like, yeah, this isn't a good place to hang around. Let's leave. So you go back up to the ground, because you're in the basement. You go up to the ground floor, and who do you meet on the ground floor? Yeah, this is fun. I'll do this instead. Because I like this guy. He's hilarious. You see this fella and half a dozen guys in black, not terribly well-fitting suits. They're basically cheap suits with big ornate crosses, and they appear to all be answering to this fella, who's standing there. He's standing there where the stairs come up into the first floor, clearly waiting for you to come back. He's holding a crucifix in front of him in a most he's presenting it forcefully.
Good evening, Inquisitor. What can I do for you?
So you did know something about this. I had a
Yes.
feeling. The guilty always come back to the scene of the crime.
Oh, well, that's absurd. Why would they do that?
We're just investigators.
Your little cult of Satanists have been revealed.
I'll turn and look kind of surprised at Johnny and say, "Miss, you never told me."
I
No,
don't think this will
Quebecois!
pass the security check at my office, but thank you.
I look at Doc Celadon. Non c'est un Quebecois!
Okay, I'll turn to Carol and look at her for a minute and just kind of give her an indication that does she really want to get involved with this guy? Because I can talk us out of this in a second if I drop her name.
Shall
if-
I?
if you
I
just
give
wanna
them
read
the.
about it,
I glance down at my pocket, at my like my purse, going, ID time. Give him the look at the eye person. Give him the look at the person like, I can show him ID anytime now.
It's like, ma'am, if you would, it will probably save us all a lot of problems.
Very well, sir. Good afternoon, sir. Pull out my ID.
Bernard Hessling, Tribunal of the Holy Office of the Inquisition.
Carol Desjardins. Blah 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 blah. Whatever my title is.
Société Impériale de Thaumaturgie. He's like, what? He like takes your ID, walks over underneath the bulb hanging from the ceiling and looks at it. He's like, what? Why are you here?
It's the same reason you're here. An investigation, sir. I'm not allowed to discuss it, though. I'm not. It is not quite official.
I see. It all makes sense now. That's why you didn't answer our questions. You're working for the SIT. He triumphantly hands Carol's What's he got to be
didn't
triumphant
know
about?
he
I
was
don't know.
on official report until now, actually. Thank you very much, sir, for blowing my cover.
He just turns around and walks away, and then, then like the four guys who are in here, they like watch him walk away, and then they look at you, and then they look at each other, and then they all follow behind him like baby ducks. So,
It certainly has.
Howard,
Well.
use it wisely or use it not, sir.
Those are the people who beat you up, Doc?
Oh yes, I didn't get the names, but I certainly remember the faces. And I have to admit, that was actually almost as satisfying as turning them into a pack of ducks.
Yay! Ducks but not badgers. Got it.
Well,
I could do worse.
one doesn't want to get a signature going.
I could do worse if you wanted me to.
Wolves. They're worse than badgers because they're tiny and helpless yet so destructive.
I was thinking naked mole rats myself.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you don't get accosted by anybody else.
Oh, good.
Now what?
Now?
All right.
We're back to square one.
Johnny, did you recognize any of the guys that were carried out of here by the police?
Yes. You can
yes,
roll
I
to see if
did.
you recognize more, but I'll give you one guy for free, so you can make like a culture roll if you want, just to recognize more than one.
And if you did, who
I
do they-
only rolled a 9 on that roll, so
As it happens, I rolled crap, so you only needed a 7. So you didn't recognize all of them, but I'll tell you who you did recognize. You recognized this fella, who is Redouane Faïd. This is Redouane Faïd,
Okay.
mid-level Maghrebi gangster. You know him by sight, but you've never actually had a conversation with him. But you know him by sight. Like you've seen him at places where you were both at, and somebody would say, "Oh yeah, that's Redouane Faïd over there," and you're like, "Oh,
Right.
noted." So, and then there's this guy, kind of like how I'm trying to blank on the dude's name. Oh, Eve. Kind of like how Eve is like the right-hand man of Bernadette Blanchard. This guy is the right-hand man of Redouane Faïd. But whereas Eve is kind of composed and not overtly like blustering, or I mean, he can be violent if he needs to be, but he doesn't present that as his face. This guy, he walks around like one notch away from homicidal killing spree all the time. So that's you don't remember his name, but you did recognize him. Because
Okay.
wherever you see Redouane Faïd, you see this guy about 3 feet away. So I think his name's Vincent something. Anyway, there you go. And there are a couple of other guys you didn't recognize.
okay, I relay that information.
Okay, so they're Maghrebi, right?
Yes.
Yes. And honestly, I think they've been set up.
If there's a reflective surface up here, like a mirror,
Okay.
see if I can remember well enough to cast the or images of the faces I saw in the retrocognition onto the mirror,
Oh,
So-
sure.
so that Johnny can see them. Okay, do you recognize any of these people?
Shall I roll again?
Yeah, roll again. And
14 that time.
versus 14. So of the four that like ripple to the surface of the reflective surface, it's like zik and then zik and then zik. Of those, you only recognize one, but you do recognize him. He's a thug. You think he's praying, but you think he's so low level that it doesn't really matter, because at that level, this week praying, next week Prebby, week after that praying again, they don't really matter at the rent a thug level.
Interdepartmental agency rent a thug pool. Yeah.
Yeah. He's basically a criminal temp, henchman for hire.
But I've got a name.
No, but you recognize him. You've seen him before. He rings a bell.
Okay.
At just 14, you don't remember his name, but you do recognize him.
Okay. That fellow is low level. I thought last I heard he was working for Parade.
All right.
But you know how these sorts are. By the way, I've got pictures of some of Johnny's cars.
Well, cue it up and have it ready, and then whenever somebody needs a bathroom break, we'll look at that.
Yeah. I realized what kind of car he would be driving earlier this week.
Okay. Oh, actually, now that
to be a Citroen.
Now that Carol has seen these pictures, and Johnny has pointed out that they are just low-level thugs, she actually her records wouldn't have these guys, but the police would probably have them. Oh, who has a spy camera? That's Johnny, right?
Yeah.
Can
I'll
you
take a picture of this?
Can you take a picture of the reflective surface image?
That's a question I would have for you, Mr. Game Master. I'm perfectly willing to. Yes.
I think being
Does
that it is
work?
a physical manifestation and not, just in your head. Like the retrocognitions. Go ahead.
But I might want to point out that magic acts very weird when it comes to certain chemicals, among others, silver nitrate and cameras. If magic in this world is anti-silver, no, the pictures will not take.
We're gonna.
Yeah, but if that were so, don't you think Eastman Kodak would have figured that out by now?
If nothing else, we've done similar stuff before, so I can probably find a way to alter the spell.
It's supposedly why vampires cannot be seen in mirrors.
Although Doxeladon has discovered that the reason why vampires don't like mirrors is because it reveals their true self.
Yeah, and they're gross.
Yeah.
They're like Nosferatu.
You don't have magic that's a silver.
So we're not gonna go with that particular interpretation of magic versus technology, because I think it's actually more interesting to let you take a picture of it. Okay. Oh, the retrocognition, that was all in Doxeladon's head, so you can take a picture of that. But the reflective surface thing, that's a physical manifestation. So Johnny Diamond, when he's looking at them, says, "Just a moment, my good man," and he takes out his spy camera. They're not great pictures, but sure. And there's something you can take back to the police if you want.
Mm-hmm. Something to add to my earlier report.
Okay, now what?
I am open to suggestion.
Indeed.
Well.
Well.
So the question is, do we let the underworld know that it is trying to frame itself?
Oh no, as far as I'm concerned, the more of the bastards that get taken down, the happier I'm going to be, and I don't really care which family they belong to. And besides that, this may incite a war, in which case they'll start killing each other off.
No, I'm more...
Well, I was thinking that if these photographs, if a copy of these photographs were to end up in the hands of the higher Magrebi, who might be upset at their warehouse being raided.
Oh, in which case I'd suggest you just give them to the police. In which case the criminals will find them quickly enough.
True.
Hey, I cannot refute your logic.
I know this reflects a rather cynical attitude on my behalf, but I'm afraid it's kind of true.
I'm not sure that it is so much cynical as it is realistic.
Just observant. It's not cynical. It's observant. So, do you just stop by the police office on the way back to the club and hand them?
We gotta get the.
Oh, you have to get them developed. So you have
developed and all
stop.
that, yeah.
Who does? Do any of you do that? Like, any of you guys have a dark room where you do that sort of thing, or you have to go take it to a camera place and let them develop it? We never really asked that.
I've probably got a guy. I'm connected. I've got a guy for this.
Okay, you drop off the film.
Who asks
like ID
no questions. He remembers nothing. It's better for his health.
He'll have them for you. Let's say it's around 8:30 when you drop them off. He'll have them for you by 11.
Fair enough.
Then you go back to the club. You hang out for a couple of hours. Yay! Anybody have any plans between now and when the photographs arrive?
I'm not sure when this would qualify for doing this, but I want to do some experimentation on. I had an idea concerning use of magic spells. I want to be able to cast a defensive spell and have it last past the point where I can cast an offensive spell. I know that the rule is you can only have one spell active at a time, but what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to develop a defense that I can build off of for example, the shield amulet I've got that will remain active for a short period of time. I want to cast a really powerful, like a force wall or something like that, but still be able to do something to it or through it.
You can do that. It makes it more difficult to cast a spell.
Right.
Let's see. If it does direct damage, the most you can do is like a minute or so. You can't
Right.
set up something that will like just continue to hurt people for all day. For something that doesn't do direct damage, you can extend the length. It just makes the spell more difficult to cast.
Okay.
So, how long were you thinking?
Basically, what I'm trying to determine is that the way I'm looking at it is that it's eventually going to come to a head with us and the organized crime types. And what I need to be able to do is do something really loud, obnoxious, and flashy, and then be able to defend myself long enough for the bullets to stop flying so that other people can act around me.
Okay. An hour is one penalty die, which means it reduces the number of dice you roll. And a day is 2 penalty dice, which reduces the number of dice you roll.
Okay.
So I don't think you're going to be doing something that lasts a month.
No, I was talking about like a matter of seconds.
Oh, well, an hour then. One
Okay.
penalty die for something that'll last an hour.
All right, cool.
Or up to an hour. It doesn't have to last an hour, but up to an hour.
In keeping with the way that the character is kind of made, he's never been what you really call like a frontline combat type magician, like getting involved in gunfights and things like that. He's before in his previous life, he was like a theoretical magician. He was developing like the equivalent of nuclear bombs for the government. So what he's trying to do now is he's realizing that the magic that he's going to be using is going to be a lot more personal, and in doing so, he's trying to kind of develop some middle ground in between incredibly just weapons of mass destruction and just purely theoretical stuff. So,
Yeah, I'm picturing you designed you're basically the project manager for coven type spells. So you're essentially designing what like a dozen people would be doing over the course of a month to cast a spell
to put
that
it
would then obliterate a city.
like systems integration kind of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. But not so much, you're dead kind
Yeah,
of stuff.
exactly.
It's
Yeah,
like,
so
well,
I'm having to get a little bit more face-to-face practice in.
all right, sure. You, I guess, Leslie's band's playing. You're sitting at your normal booth with a bunch of pieces of parchment and quill pen or whatever you use, fountain pen, maybe.
Yeah.
And writing out these long magical formulae and going, no, that's not gonna work. And you get a gum, which is French for eraser. No, okay, all right.
Eventually, I'll work myself into a corner. I'll borrow Johnny's telephone and call somebody that I know, like Sergey or somebody like that. I'm like, all right, this is what I'm trying to achieve. I need something that's gonna work in a practical, the same general area effect of, say, a stick of TNT, but I can either get a city block leveled or I'm getting something in the equivalent of a cigarette lighter. I need something in between that.
Yeah,
And so I'll take notes from him and then go back to what I was doing.
you have this black bakelite phone and you're talking, you're writing with one hand and talking. It's like, no. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay, wait, but how does that, some magical thing. Anyway, so meanwhile, the rest of you guys, while Doc Celadon is waxing metaphysical, what are you guys doing?
Hmm.
And I'll be right back.
All right.
I think my wife just came on.
Hey, let's see that card, Donald.
Hello. Oh, hey, Laura.
Nope.
You turned your sound off, Donald.
Well, I want to see the car, so it doesn't need to have sound.
Yeah,
Look.
let me get to it.
I think I better go check on to see if kitties have been fed.
Sounds reasonable. Let's pause. Gonna pause now. Pausing.
Okay.
I figure if he's not going to have a Cadillac LaSalle, he's probably going to have a DS. And
I'm
if
recording
he's
it.
driving some,
I'm recording again. Show the Citroen, the 4-door, and then the Roadster again for
Okay.
posterity.
there's the Citroen.
So that's
That's-
everybody's got a
that's the
fit
sedan.
car.
Yeah, that's the sedan. And then the Roadster is a Facel Vega HK.
And they're
Every
both
hour.
made in Paris, you say.
Yes.
And the Roadster has a V8 engine from Chrysler.
The Roadster is like I think they officially rated it in 59 at like 180 kilometers an hour. So it was over 100-mile-an-hour car in France, which was just unheard of. Well, I mean, Bugattis went that fast, but they didn't get there that quick.
All right. Okay. So, Leslie's band's playing the. Actually, I'll find some music for Leslie's band to play. Why not? So Leslie's band's playing. Doc Celadon's working on some theoretical magic. And Carol or Johnny's doing his job. He's running the place. And Carol's hanging out. What are you doing, Carol? Eating pudding, apparently.
Oh well, I'm sure, but I personally have no issue.
Yeah, that's melted cheese.
Ooh.
Personally, I'd have gone for the ice cream, but
I'm on a cheesecake. Don't mind me.
I understand. I believe in fondue. If you look deep within your heart, you will find melted cheese. So, yeah. Anyway,
fondue.
band's playing, people hanging out.
not far off.
Daxodon's working on stuff. Things are going pretty well. You're waiting around for the photographer guy to send by a courier to bring you your prints. Someday your prints will come. And at that point, several well-armed guys walk into the Cafe Azure American. The guy in the front looks like this. This is one of the fellows who was carried away by the police earlier today.
Is he
You'll
really
know-
having a pair of side-by-side shotguns on either shoulder?
As a matter of fact, he is. He walks through the front door looking just like that.
Can I make an go ahead and use an action?
Okay, I'll let Doc Celadon do his thing before I run up and greet the guy.
I'm laughing because I think
Because
this
I've
is
actually
really
got
funny.
a plan here.
Do you?
I really do.
I
But
think
I'll let
it's
Doc
so funny.
Celadon go first.
Well, let me finish my little thing, my little spiel, and then people can go in whatever order they want to go. Behind him, walking through your front door on this lovely Wednesday evening, are this guy, and then this guy. And then there's like two more guys. They don't matter. But, they're thugs. The only guy visibly carrying weapons is the first guy who walked in, who has the shotguns over his shoulders.
Who we know got arrested earlier today.
At least 3 of the 5 guys who just walked in, you saw being arrested earlier today.
I thought one of them was the guy that we saw draining the body, not being arrested.
No, none of these guys were the people that Doc Celadon showed you that you took photos of. You recognized one of those guys, but it wasn't one of these guys. These are the guys who got arrested,
Okay.
which are 2 separate groups of guys.
Okay.
Around the time that the people near the door start noticing that thugs have entered the Cafe Azure American and stop talking, there's like a wave of silence that kind of echoes, well, as you are, it's like it echoes from the front door toward the back. And eventually it'll hit the band. Leslie, does the band keep playing or stop playing? Because you notice the rest of the restaurant goes silent.
Leslie, you're muted.
You're muted, Leslie.
It's gonna end up being like typical. We'll play through anything until the shots are fired, and then we'll go. Then we'll probably hit the floor.
Okay. That's pretty funny.
Brandon, by sheer coincidence, one of the spells that I'm working on right now is a telekinetic force spell.
As it happens.
Yeah. So yeah, the guy with the 2 shotguns on his shoulders, I'm gonna push him, or I'm gonna put him right back straight through the front door. I don't care who's between him and the door, and I'm gonna do it really hard.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, you got to hit him.
I think
So,
the moment his spell goes off and there's some kind of violence happening, the band will shut down and hit the floor.
all
Or hit
right.
the drum.
I got to double check something.
Okay, in that case, my reaction is going to be the same. It's just going to be perfect now.
Huh.
Thank
Okay,
you,
you're
Doc
rolling versus
Celadon.
his agility. I got 7 plus his agility. He's say 11. All right, you're rolling versus 11, Lloyd. Roll some dice.
I'll even take a penalty die to make it subtle, so they don't know where it came from.
That's wise.
Even better.
That's
Even
wise.
better, because now it came from the African mask above the bod.
There you go. I rolled an 18.
All right then.
Oh yeah, basically I just line him up like a pool, like a billiard shot, and knock him right straight back through the front door.
He's coming in, and there's like guys coming in behind him, and they start to fan out a little bit, and he's about to give like a really impressive intimidating monologue, and he's like, and he takes his breath, and then he just gets blown out the door.
In which case, the band stops.
And now Johnny runs up to the door. Oh, pardon, pardon, pardon. I am sorry. It seems that my defenses are a little overactive.
He's like,
They are new wards to keep everybody here safe. Please come in, have drinks.
let me see how.
As long as you mean no harm, then no harm will come to you.
Let me see how gently he lands in the street. Okay, so that's what he rolls, and that's what the street rolls. Okay, so he's like tumbling, and he's like he's not like out in the road. He's like his back's up against a parked car, and he's like looking like, what the hell? The shotguns are on the ground in front of him. So you run past like the guys he came in with, basically, as you give your speech of. No, so sorry. Didn't mean to do that.
So sorry. I have protected my establishment to see that none come to harm. Please come in, as if you mean no harm, then it shall not harm you again.
Okay, so let's see. We're gonna call
And
that
I'll go ahead
your action.
Yeah,
you do that.
If he lets me, I'll go ahead and pick up his shotguns, pop the shells out, hand them back to him.
He's standing up a little dazed, and he's like, oi. I don't know what the French version of like low class
crap.
English is. Hey, oi. Thank you, soy. Yeah. Yes. What the? Was that a defensive ward? Is that what that was? Well, that's very something. If that car wouldn't been here, I would have been out in the street. That was impressive. I mean, we're still gonna fuck you up, but that was impressive.
Oh, I would not recommend it. Please let us have drinks and discuss this like gentlemen.
Let's pause right there, because I want to give people inside a chance to do something. Because you and he are now outside the club.
Well, I'm still in the doorway. I don't.
Not if you picked up his shotguns and handed them to him. You weren't.
Because I picked up his shotguns and
You're-
popped the shells out.
Here's the door.
Right.
You walk over here. You pick up the guns. You hand it. It's like, here's the
Well,
car
pop
parked by
the
the road.
Remember, I popped the shells.
You did. Though the shotguns are empty. No, that's
I
absolutely
empty
true.
the shotguns and hand him his empty shotguns,
Yes.
and inform him that if he means no harm, then no harm will come to him.
Meanwhile, back inside, Duxeldon did his thing, which went pretty well. Leslie's band, when the guy blows out the door, stops playing. What do you do then, Leslie?
You said that my magic is sort of different, but I can sort of do things like Dr. Celadon does if I want to,
Yeah,
depending on.
you can
Okay.
cast like actual spells.
Okay. I'm just going to prepare at this point because because I don't think I'm as subtle.
You can be. It just makes it harder.
I was gonna say what we need right now is a trombone hit. Wah, 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 wah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we'll prepare a spell, something similar to Dr. Celadon's, and we'll make it. We'll try to make it subtle. But it's only preparing. If one of them makes a hostile move,
He gets
focus
shoved
in.
out the door too.
Yeah. Exactly.
Wait. I didn't hear what Leslie said. If somebody makes a hostile move,
So
you
if
what?
somebody starts making a hostile move, he'll get the same treatment that Doc Celadon gave the other guy. He's
Okay.
shoved out the door
Okay.
as subtly as I can, but I'm holding.
That's cool. Totally cool. Making it subtle so that they can't tell where it came from
Mm-hmm.
is significantly more difficult. Just letting you know.
Oh, I know.
Okay. All right. As long as you know. Carol, you saw all that. The band has stopped playing. Oh, actually, the band is so professional. It's like da 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 dun, and they all stop playing at the exact same note.
Yep.
Deja vu, huh?
Yeah. Not much I can do. I can't invisibly throw people outdoors, so most I can do is pull out my gun but keep it under the table and hold phase.
I was going to say, but what you can do is talk.
They haven't
That
come
would
in for
attract attention. All right, well, this fella turns around and looks at essentially the back of Johnny, who's just walked past him and is walking out the door. He pulls out an enormous revolver and aims it at Johnny, who's walking out the back door.
And he's the one that's going to get shoved by me.
Okay, you can roll some dice, and I'll roll some dice, and I'll tell you what happens.
What am I rolling on skill-wise?
Well, you'd normally be rolling 2d6, but because you're making it subtle, you only roll 1d6. Oh, I'm
Am
still
I
sharing
adding
stuff.
anything
Plus
to it?
power, right?
Hang on. Yeah, and to that, you're going to add your power, which is 4.
Okay.
Oh, actually, let me double check that. It might be power plus agility. No. Oh, actually, it is. It's power plus agility plus 1d6
1d6.
because you're trying to make
That
it
would
subtle.
That would make it 11.
And you are rolling against him, which I will roll.
Hey,
Here we
even
go.
if I push his aim off a little, I don't care. I don't need to push like Doc Celadon did. I just
Okay.
need to throw his aim off.
Unfortunately, you miss him by 1. He doesn't know where it came from, but he sidesteps and seems a little surprised as the chair on the floor next to him goes poosh, and gets knocked toward the back door or toward the door.
Mm-hmm.
And
You see what I mean? It's totally out of control. I really need to talk to the wizard who set up my wards.
at which point
Please come in and have a drink and talk like...
everybody make presence rolls. 2d6 plus your presence. Well, everybody inside. Donald, you don't
Okay.
roll, and the guy you're talking to don't roll, because you hear it, kind of, but not as... You'll hear it after everybody else does.
Okay.
So what did everybody get?
I rolled a 12.
Oh, Jesus. Okay. Who else rolled 12 or more?
1 second. 16.
All right. Well-
Identical price is more than 12. Yeah.
All the PCs hear it, but do not react in a visceral fear response kind of action. But pretty much 80% of the rest of the club, there's like a sound that's kind of coming from everywhere. You're not sure. First, it sounds like babies crying, or maybe it's wolves howling, but then it sounds like glass breaking. Except it's all of those things at the same time. And let's see, Doc Celadon's over in the corner. Leslie's up at the stage. Carol out is probably the closest one. So Carol. Hey, who rolled the highest?
Carol.
Carol! Beautiful. Carol is like, where's that coming from? And you look, and there's a big-ass African mask behind the bar.
Yes!
And there's something weird happening to the air around it. It's not fog exactly. It's more like what you're looking at is a reflection of the wall behind the bar, and the mirror that you're seeing the reflection in has cracks in it. So it's like slightly off alignment, weirdly.
Mm-hmm.
Except that area is kind of moving out from the mask and toward the guy holding the revolver.
Awesome. He's gonna have not fun.
So that's what's happening there. Oh, meanwhile, Donald, at this point, you hear like some kind of god-awful noise coming from inside the bar.
I repeat, You see what I mean? I really need to talk to someone about toning down these words. This is a place of business, you know. Now, will you all come in and have drinks like gentlemen?
Well, the only person outside with you is this guy.
Oh. Oh.
He's holding his shotguns, which are
No,
empty. You
Now,
need to
will
roll
you-
agility or whatever, plus 2d6. And I rolled crap in a hat. All right, well, I rolled horrible.
for damage?
Well, he's actually just trying to grab you.
Oh, okay. Because my defensive value is 6 from my endurance.
That's fine. 2d6 plus
But-
that.
Okay. A 16.
Good God.
Wow. Why couldn't I have rolled that earlier? Okay.
Well, he reaches out and attempts. And you get the feeling this is the sort of thing that he's done so often. It surprises him when you dart away and slip out of his grasp, because you do.
No,
He's like he tries to grab like here, and that's his clear intention is to. And he even after he grips, he moves his hand up as though it's like it's part of one move, and he's kind of surprised that it failed halfway through. It's like what?
Yeah, I
'Cause
was gonna say,
you're over
with
there.
him being from Tenacious, I suppose Johnny just like shrugs out of it real quick. The guy's like, "Wait, what?"
Look, we know what you did, and you're not going to get away with it.
Come inside and we can talk talk about this like gentlemen. Please.
Boy, what's going on there? All right, fine.
What's going on with the man?
After you. I'll tell you what. I won't do anything till the boss says to do something. How's that?
Perhaps I should be talking to the boss, but since you're here, come inside, have a drink.
After you. Monsieur Diamond.
Okay, I assume he's gonna try and jump me from behind, but I'm going to go ahead and lead the way in.
Actually, he doesn't. He just follows you in.
Okay. Little
Although
bit of unnecessary
He,
paranoia.
he unloaded the... You get the impression that the Mr. Diamond thing was supposed to unnerve you, that he knows who you are.
Everybody knows who I
Yeah,
am.
this whole thing just is not working to this guy's strengths. It's just, you know, it's not having. It's just not his best day. This is an off day.
It's like one of those threats where we can find out where you live. Shit, I'll tell you where I live. It's right here.
It's like, dude, I live here. You knocked on the door.
You knock on the door and ask if you can.
Oh, yeah, no, that actually happened to Kava. Some internet tough guy was like trying to make threats, and Kava was just like gave him his business address, business phone number, and said, "Make an appointment. I'm a busy man. Come by any time."
So you lead this fella.
And internet tough guy just shut up right there.
You
It was
lead
like,
this fella
"Here's
back
my
into
name,
the
here's
club.
my number, here's my address. Come on. If you want to beat me up, beat me up. So yeah, this guy's not having a good day.
He's doing his best with what he's got. So he follows you in. Meanwhile, inside the club, I guess Doc Saladon, it's your turn to do something. What are you gonna do?
What are the bad guys up to?
Mostly. Oh wait, I should roll for their responses to the god awful noise, because it's a god awful noise. It's pretty horrendous.
Yeah.
So one guy outside, boss guy inside. Just 5 total, so 3 other thugs inside. No wait, boss guy, right hand man, thug outside, and 2 more thugs. So let me roll for these guys. Thug with a revolver. Not phased. It's just noise. Boss man, also not phased, although he is observing with interest the strange area in the air that looks like a broken mirror. Other 2 thugs, nameless thug, looks angry and pulls a gun and aims it at the area in the air that looks like a broken mirror. And other thug is unnerved and clueless and kind of afraid looking. He doesn't pull a gun. He's just looking around like, what's going on? What's going on? Or
goody.
you know,
Now
whatever
we're
the
really
equivalent
gonna
in
see
French is.
what the
Qu'est-ce que c'est? Qu'est-ce que c'est?
what that thing's gonna do to you guys. Oh my.
So yeah, that's what's going on. What are you doing, Doc?
I'm essentially drawing a bead on the right-hand man because he's just pulled a gun on Johnny, and but I'm not going to act until such time
Oh, is it?
as he shows himself to be willing to
Henchman.
pull the trigger.
All right, Leslie.
Pointing at the mirror thing that Ido made.
About this one a little bit. So they're on-
They're gonna kill your demon, Johnny, and you don't have a replacement. So, just because it's a demon doesn't mean it's bulletproof.
Is that the
Let you
mask
know.
you're talking about?
Yes.
Well, actually, then I might just try illusion myself, and have something else to direct their fire. Out of that wah around the mirror, I'm going to have something step out or look like it's stepping out that can is something that's the mask's kind of with legs and arms. I'm not going
Kooky.
to do anything except step out and be a target.
Are you trying to make it subtle again?
Yeah.
All right. You roll some dice. I'll roll some dice.
Well, I can only roll one dice.
You roll a
I rolled
die.
as high
I roll
as I
some
could.
dice.
I rolled as high as I could. 14. That's the
Oh,
best I could
yeah,
do.
that's way better than I rolled. Okay. There's a shimmer in the air, and then you say it looks kind of like the African mask, although with arms and legs.
Arms and legs, yes.
In
And
the
it's going to walk
and
away from them.
and if I understand correctly, you're distracting away from this refracted area in the air.
Or I'm adding more to the distraction, as it were. Maybe unnerving them a little bit.
I would put it somewhere else.
Yeah, it's going to move away from the mask. Because I don't want Johnny to lose his demon.
Okay.
Add to the distraction, in other words.
Carol, doing anything fun?
Yeah, with my magic powers, I'm going to sit here and hold a gun under the table.
I just hope nobody aims theirs at you. Well, on the bright side, it looks like there's a whole lot of other things going on that people can be looking at other than you. For example, at that moment, Johnny comes back in the room looking cheerful and, well, I was going to say laissez-faire, but that's not exactly what I mean.
His usual crazy, nonchalant self.
Nonchalant. That's the word I'm like. Okay, nonchalant. Johnny nonchalantly walks back in the bar, followed by, not quite as confident a swagger as the first time he came in, but still looking pretty tough. The guy with the shotguns, although now he's just kind of holding both of them like this, and looking around like, okay, I am still in control of the situation. That's his expression. He's like telling himself that. And Johnny walks in. Johnny sees the refracted area in the air, which is a bits point about half, and from your angle, you can kind of see where it is. It's about halfway between the mask and the right-hand man with the enormous revolver, who is aiming his enormous revolver in your direction. And there's another guy with a gun aiming his pistol, an automatic, not a 45, whatever Europeans were using at the time. Walther, sure, why not?
Browning high power.
Browning high power, there you go.
Probably
He's
one of
aiming
those-
that at the area in the air. Although at this point, then there's like a shimmer, and there's an African mask-looking demonic thing with arms and legs. And does guy with Browning high power aim at that? Let's find out.
I when that appears, I very calmly announce, I really wouldn't do that if I were you.
Guy with Browning high power aims his pistol at the African mask-looking demon thing. Right-hand man, psychopath, is still aiming his pistol toward Johnny. Oh, and I guess if this is what everybody does, we will go ahead and have the demon roll to hit somebody.
I'm just trying to warn them.
You are
You wouldn't
indeed.
do that if I were you.
The refracted area that's kind of moving toward this fella. Hey, I'll show you him again, just so we know who we're looking at. Who is aiming his pistol at Johnny. Refracted area in the air kind of hits him, and he gets refracted, and he's in like 5 different bloody pieces that just kind of fall in different places. At which point, the guy who is aiming his pistol at the African mask, let's see what he does. Does he shoot? Or
Actually,
does he...
Brandon,
Yeah?
I'll go ahead and use my move right now and make his move for him.
What's that?
Again, I still got telekinesis up, so this sounds like this is going to be a little bit more subtle. I'm going to push the pistol towards the boss man and pull the trigger.
And I'm going to think to myself, I didn't do that.
Okay.
And I'm definitely keeping it.
Dang.
All right. That's really super. I'm going to give I'll give you the die penalty for the subtlety. I'm going to give myself a bonus because you're actually manipulating a thing another guy's holding. So
Yes.
you need to roll super, super well. Go ahead.
Okay. 18 is my roll.
Okay. You needed a 21
Oh,
because
okay.
I rolled really well. Right. So the guy who was aiming over the African demon, like, swivels around and aims at his boss, right?
Yes.
And blam, fires, but does not hit his boss.
Oh, okay.
His boss is like, what the hell? So, je ne sais quoi, je ne sais quoi, drops his pistol. Je ne sais quoi. So people are kind of.
I tried to warn them.
It's about to get worse.
Yeah.
Oh, Vincent, the right-hand man, who's now like 12 to 15 bloody chunks. Anybody who saw that happen is screaming and standing up and running away in whatever direction is convenient.
Including my band, or are they more hardened than some of us?
Actually, everybody make a presence roll, and I'll tell you what you got to roll against, and we'll see how that goes. I did not roll great. 10. If you roll more
I
than
rolled
10,
12 again.
Yeah, 13.
13.
I did not roll 10.
Lloyd, that freaked you the fuck out. Because
I'm not only freaked out, I'm completely intrigued by it too, because I've never seen that happen before.
as I understand this, let me pause for a moment. As I understand this, Doc Seldon, because he academically knows the danger of dealing with demons, has studiously avoided doing so.
Yes.
That's accurate? Okay, so this is sort of thing you've read about, but not actually seen. So.
There really is a demon in that thing? My God.
So it's you can interpret it however you want. Paralyzed with horror, fascination, both, whatever.
Yeah, the only
I'm just
demons
thinking to
I've
myself,
to this
I
point have
can't
been
be
like
doing that.
very,
Am
very
I?
minor ones. The demon equivalent of like bugs, really.
I'm
Because
actually just
I
thinking to
saw
myself,
that
I didn't do that, did I?
That was it. But yeah, it's all of my knowledge of demonology is mostly academic. I don't study conjuring demons because that's not what I did. Same thing with necromancy. I studiously avoided necromancy because it's disgusting and end up working for the military all the time if you do it.
I thought I was just creating an illusion.
Oh, the demon mask illusion. It's still, doing its illusion thing. At this point, Lloyd, you're pretty sure that the demon mask thing is not actually the demon. It's like an illusion of some sort.
Okay.
And deduction would lead you to who's behind that. But I'll let you cope with that on your own.
I'm a little distracted at this point, staring at the remains of the right-hand man going, damn! I have got to figure out how that happened.
Lots of screaming.
Please,
you guys
please,
are all.
everybody calm down. If they behave themselves, they won't be injured.
Johnny, you've got henchmen from the knees down all over you. I don't think you're going to be able to talk them down out for this one, man. Call it a night. Tell your waitstaff to clean up the place and go home.
The band and I are packing up. Or at least they're packing up.
Yeah, they have seen things over the course of their hundreds of years of existence that lead them to believe that this gig has ended for the evening.
Yeah.
So they're like,
think that my
so
band was normal. I mean, I figured most of my band was abnormal of some sort.
so the fairy who plays stand-up bass is going, oh, so I'm thinking no third set then, right? Yeah, all right. Puts his bass away. The fairy who plays the triangle, ding, says, I'll start the car. Goes up back.
Yeah.
I'm suddenly brought to mind of the animated cartoon The Beatles from Yellow Submarine. That's Leslie's band.
Guys, we should make our escape now. Yeah. We should make our escape now. I'll go start.
We pack up the instruments and we can cause a little fun and chaos if we want.
So Lizzie's band's
Hey.
packing up. Carol, hand on her gun, calmly watching shit go down. None of it's coming toward you yet, so you're good. Just keep your hand on your pistol. Stay cool. Let's see. Doxeladon is paralyzed with fascination of some sort. Johnny Diamond. Oh, Johnny Diamond. You're actually there at Ground Zero. What you see is Boss Guy looking at you and looking at the floor and looking at the guy who just shot at him. The guy who shot at him dropped his pistol. And let's see, there's like one other guy. What does he do?
He was the one that was panicking, I think, so he's probably running out the door.
Well, he was, but then he sees his buddy.
Until his friend fell to pieces.
Yeah, he saw Vincent fall into parts, and then he saw Thug number 4 shoot at the boss, Faid. So Thug number 5 pulls his pistol and aims it at Thug number 4, because that seems like the reasonable thing to do at this point.
Why
Don't
not?
forget Shotgun Guy, too.
Oh, shotguns are empty.
Yeah, that's Boss Dude, but I already took his shells out of his shotgun.
Diamond
repeats himself.
He's looking
really
around. He's looking at his boss. He's looking at Johnny Diamond. He's looking at Vincent. Vincent was actually his boss, basically. So he's like, huh? Gesundheit.
Thank
you. Oh, I better pick up the shotgun shells. He steps back out the door. Because he's violent, but he's not stupid. So.
And whatever's happening in the bar, he does not want to be a part of.
Yep. Be right back. Going to pick up the shotgun shells. Don't want children to pick those up and chew on them. Let's see. Is everybody? Oh, Demon. Okay, the refracted area in the air moves toward Thug number 5, who has a gun aimed at Thug number 4.
Which is why Johnny says, I really wouldn't do that if I were you.
Thug number 5 falls into about 17 bloody pieces.
I looked to the guy with the shotguns.
He backed up through the door.
Yeah.
I tell him, good help is hard to find, isn't it?
It closes the door.
You gotta tell me how you do that.
I'd be very interested. All the thugs are gone except for the ones in bits.
No, Guy outside,
He's
Bits,
running,
Bits.
probably.
Boss Man, and Thug number 4.
4.
Thug number
Good
4
job.
dropped his
Dropped
gun.
his gun.
Boss Man, how's Boss Man handling that? Because that's I'm gonna say that's far end of freaky. So
And Johnny is using all of his presence to just keep going. No, just calm down and it'll be okay.
Boss Man is vapor locked. this. Hang on. Diddle-diddle-diddle-doo. Here
In
you go.
that case, I'll guide
Fade.
him over to a table and serve him a quick panel.
This guy does not look anywhere near this cool and calm. His mouth is open. His eyes are blinking. He's looking at the ground. His hands are at his side, just like opening and closing frantically, like he doesn't know what to do. He looks at Thug number 4. He looks at Johnny. He looks. Yeah, he's not it. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I get him a drink.
Vapor lock.
I get him a drink. He obviously needs one.
Meanwhile,
Making a double.
your patrons are screaming and running toward the back door. So, the band is packing up their instruments a little faster than usual, but not in a panic by any means.
Most of us have seen worse than this in a breakfast cereal, aka the winter court.
Unless one of you guys do something interesting, I'm going to fast forward about 5 minutes.
Sounds good.
Oh, I'm Boss Man. I am getting Boss Man a drink and calming him down.
That is not going to happen. He'll take a drink if you hand it. If you like lift up his hand and put a drink in it, he will hold it because he's basically in mannequin mode at this moment.
And I'm just you're
What's the demon do?
yeah.
Well, that was the fast forwarding 5 minutes. If no one else pulls a weapon or threatens another person, the fractured place in the air just goes back to the mask and goes into its eyes.
In which case, I would drop the illusion.
Oh yeah, there's like this
Yeah.
Just a little soft
African
not bad.
mask.
Yeah.
It takes a bow and disappears.
and it just disappears in like little puffs of smoke. So yeah, the place is empty. Leslie, you can tell the band you'll meet them later, or if you want to hang around.
Yeah, I'll tell them I'll meet him later.
They're just going to go back to the flat and start drinking.
I'm good. Then I'll definitely meet you later.
Maybe pick up like a couple of young, pretty people, human mortals, and take them back to the flat and feed them fairy wine and see what happens.
Yeah.
So, other than that, it's oddly quiet now because you've got Johnny, Doc Celadon, Carol, Leslie, Fayed, Thug number 4, who's still standing there, who looks expression-wise very much like Fayed. It's like shell shock.
He gets a drink too.
You hand him a drink.
I hang coats on him, put a hat on him.
They're going to come to with a brandy in their hands, going, "Oh, just what I need."
Let's see. Do the police show up? I'm curious. Let's find out. I'm gonna say
Okay,
probably.
Johnny. What
No,
exactly
the police do
you
not
have in
show
that
up.
mask?
You think
Johnny?
after like a half an hour, if the police were going to show up, they would by now? But they
Oh,
haven't.
there was a dirty cop in this somewhere. Johnny, what exactly do you have in that mask?
I don't know. I'm going to go find out.
It's just
I'll walk over there.
it's just a protection spell. Don't worry about it. It's a really good one, I'll grant you.
Obviously, yes.
It's a gift from a friend.
Yes, it was a gift from a friend.
God, a good friend.
Yeah, that's their.
That's impressive.
Doc Celadon, it appears, I mean, it's clearly magical, but it is, for all intents and purposes, inert is not the right word. Dormant. It's dormant.
Very impressive.
So I get the thugs sitting down at a table.
Eventually, they recover
with
enough of
brandies in their
themselves
hands.
to like look down at the glass. Like, what? What am I looking at? Oh, it's a glass. Oh, it's brandy. Oh, just what I needed. Drink the brandy.
If you gentlemen have recovered,
Faid recovers first because he's the boss, and he looks up and he holds up his hand. He's like, "Monsieur, apparently we have made a serious mistake. I humbly beg your forgiveness. If you just let us go, you will never hear from us again."
oh wait though, I have information for you. I understand what this may be about.
Well, I assume that you do. You framed us for the vampire murders. Me,
No,
particularly.
no. No, you
You
misunderstand
gave
the
the police the
situation.
tip that led them to my business. You planted dead bodies in my basement. Not that that's anything wrong with that.
Let him finish.
I mean, no
I'm trying to
offense.
tell you something.
Now, in all of our future interactions, you will walk in peacefully and be polite, yes?
But what do you want me to? You want me to
Yes.
say? Yeah, yes, of course.
Yes. You
I
will
will.
walk
We
in
will walk
peacefully
in
and be
politely,
polite.
and be. I don't remember everything else you said. We'll walk in politely. Yes.
Yes, you will be polite.
Polite, yes.
And you will not threaten people in my
Never.
establishment.
Never.
Or my person itself.
Absolutely not.
Well then, if you will be patient, I may have photographs of the men who did plant those bodies. And who did use the license plate or vehicle, I'm not sure which. I don't get the perfectly clear pictures, you understand. In order to frame you. Would this interest your superiors?
Yes.
Oh, good. Very good. So then we will have no more of this trouble, and you understand that I am on your side in this. I am terribly sorry for the misunderstanding that led to your arrest. I'm sure we can straighten this out.
I don't understand, monsieur. What do you want from me?
Brandon,
Yes,
I know he doesn't have. I know Johnny doesn't have the photographs returned yet.
that's correct.
Okay, what I'm going to do is I'll get another reflective surface, cast the spell on it where someone can't see me, at the table where I'm sitting, and then I'll just pick the thing up and carry it over there with the images on it, and put it down in front of Faid and say, "Here is an image of the 4 people who actually planted all of the evidence in your basement earlier today. I don't know who they are. We haven't had a chance to check with the police to find out who they are, but you might."
Feed is slowly recovering his composure. He's not quite there yet, but he's like 75% there. Mostly there. Little not there. Mostly there. So, Doc Celadon walks over with a serving tray and pictures on it and sets it down. So, Feed, clearly hesitant to look away from Johnny, who he thinks is a badass sorcerer at this point, and looks down at the serving tray on which there are etchings of thugs somehow. Who would do that? That seems in poor taste. He doesn't say that. He just thinks it, though. And he goes, "Well, I know 2 of these men. They are their parade. It looks like, John, are you saying that these are the men who planted the dead bodies at my place of business? But you were still the one who led the police to my door.
I was
Or am I wrong?
I was simply following them.
I see. They led you to my door. You did not know that they did not work for me.
Mr.
Well,
Diamond,
I assumed they did. They are low level. They I mean that one
Men
I
like this
know
are easily
used
bought.
to work for Rain, but who can keep track of who these people work for these days?
Once you transition to like the world he understands, he's much more able to cope with things. He's like, yes, men like this, they are bought and sold, like baguettes.
I
So
could not. All I knew is that they were stealing bodies, stealing people, kidnapping, and murdering people.
I'm a criminal, but really, these men are monsters.
I did not know it was your place of business, or I would have come to you personally about it. These I agree. These monsters need to be stopped.
I'll quietly interject to Fayed again and say it would appear that both Mr. Diamond and yourself have been played a fool by another party.
You see like a rapid flicker of like 5 or 6 emotions go through this guy's eyes, but he doesn't show them much, mainly because he's in the presence of the shredded remains of 2 of his thugs. There's like a click, click, click in his head, and he turns to Giant Diamond and says, "Is that how you would describe this?"
Say yes. Just say yes.
I would not use those words, but I cannot say it is inaccurate.
Slow nod. I think I begin to understand. What would you propose that we do, sir?
Well, we both wish the people committing these atrocities to stop.
Oh, yes. This is horrible.
I happen to have the ear of members of the police force, as you have regretfully discovered.
And SIT, not to there, but yeah.
And SIT.
Yeah, I know. Laugh. Go ahead.
But you see,
we
both wish the same thing here: to put an end to these atrocities and see those who have done them brought to justice.
Straightens his shirt a little bit, sits up a little straighter, gathers his computer.
We both.
I feel I've done you an injustice, and I've sullied your place of business with the blood of my associates. What may I do to make this up to you?
You can help us find the answer to this mystery.
Yes. Well,
Not so much a mystery anymore.
the first thing that I ask, you have already granted. That you not bring violence to myself or my place of business.
Never again. Never again. He crosses himself. Never again.
And do inform your superiors of this.
As diplomatically as I can.
I appreciate that. And if you need any backup to maintain your face,
I think I have all the evidence I need to make my case.
All right. So then, if your superiors would like this brought to an end, as I would like this brought to an end, perhaps we can work together.
Let me know what I can do.
I am very interested in any information on these men, the vampire murders. Honestly, may I be indiscreet here? I will tell you something that I don't wish to get around, as it may be harmful for both of us.
He looks over at thug number 4, who is still. He goes, I don't think this will go beyond those of us here.
Montan has been troublesome. I fear it is he.
Alexander Montan? He even whispers it.
Oh, is that his first name?
Oui.
He says it like, yeah, we both know we're talking about the same person, but we both ought to be able to deny it if we have to. Oh, is that his name? You see, he threatened my friends. He did not bring violence upon them, or we wouldn't be having this trouble.
Yeah.
But I may not be able to protect them at all times. Perhaps we can work together and bring an end to this crisis.
Whatever I can do to assist, I will do.
Oui.
I will need to find more help.
Yeah.
Well, yes.
But there are always more like this. So, wow.
And your men in the police, is it Brouchard? Monnier?
Monsieur, one does not speak of these things.
Oh, forgive me. I am merely interested as a professional courtesy. And if you do need any wards or protections...
No, not like this.
You
This
know
is,
who to find. Oui?
your offer is too generous, monsieur. With respect, I did never wish to see anything like this again.
Nor do I, which is why I ask for no violence in my club.
He crosses himself again. You have my word, monsieur.
Well then, I think we have reached an accord. And I shall telephone you if I need your assistance.
May we go now?
Yes.
I think Jean-Claude needs something more than brandy.
Unless you'd like another drink.
No. It's you're too kind. You're too kind. Thank you, Missy. I'm gonna take Jean-Claude home to his wife, and I think perhaps he needs to sleep for a very long time. Come on, Jean-Claude.
Yes.
No, follow me. But no, this way. We are leaving now. The nice people are letting us go. Yes, come to the door. Come to the door. Yes. Bonsoir, monsieur, madame, monsieur.
Bonsoir.
Thank you. And he's like nervous, like afraid, like he's gonna turn his back and you're gonna incinerate him.
Bonsoir,
But he's like,
my friend.
Oh, and as he's leaving, I'll ask Johnny Diamond, Mr. Diamond, would you like me for me to send for the cleaners?
Yes, I'm afraid this would take all night without them.
Yeah.
you hear, you don't see, but you hear outside the boss guy feed yelling at someone saying, "What are you doing? Get up, you fool! He hit you this hard? You're unconscious. Wake up! Yes, no, it's over. You missed everything." Lucky you. Come on, follow me. Oh, good. Jatalu.
Dude went out, got the shells, and passed out.
Passed out. So, ooh, I hit my head on that car. I was so unconscious.
Couldn't make it back.
What did I miss? I saw nothing.
Smart man.
Around that time, there's like and a cheerful face pops in the door and says, "Monsieur, I have you a photo." Ah! 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 Throws the manila envelope at Johnny Diamond and runs away.
Merci.
Johnny, if you have everything in hand here, I have a little date with my friends, some fairy wine, and some babes. See you later.
Sounds fair enough to me. Yeah, I think that on that note, we're just all gonna go home now.
Yeah.
So, Carol.
So, Johnny, I know I don't know any professional cleaners.
Actually, you do.
No.
There's SIT knows people.
Okay.
In
What, you want a professional cleaner or referral, or you got this?
Oh, no. My thought was, at least now we know what the mask does.
Yeah, it's impressive.
No, we know what the effects are. We don't exactly know what it does.
Yeah, we haven't seen. Yeah, we pretty much scared them out of fully seeing the effects of the mirror. I mean, the mask, probably for the best, considering who gave it to you.
Very astute. Very astute.
Out of character, who gave it to you?
Oh,
the Egyptian.
Oh,
Yeah.
The Egyptian gave it to Johnny.
yeah,
Yes.
okay.
Which family is the Egyptian attached to?
Parain.
The Parain, same one as Motand.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Oh,
And
okay.
oddly enough, Carol has seen a very similar mask at the house of Alexander Montan.
Oh, interesting.
I pointed
Yes.
it out at the time. I don't know if you remember.
Probably slipped my mind. It was
It was a stressful moment.
yes. And by the way, if we're ever gonna just, if we can't possibly storm, what's his name, Matan's
Montan.
life, because hey, he has a mask similar to yours. So
Oh, no, we just have to get him away from the mask, I assume.
I'm.
Or find a way to neutralize it. Anyway.
But if we find a way to neutralize it, then there's a way to neutralize this mask. But of course, there's
There's a way to neutralize any magic.
There's always a way.
always a way.
And if we know it, we can protect against it.
Exactly. That's why I try and maintain the element of surprise.
But as it happens, Carol actually does know professional cleaners who deal in this sort of thing.
I would have to, considering my
Not
work.
personally, but I mean you've got them in your Rolodex.
Yes.
Back in the office.
Actually, I'm going to see if I'm going to transmute the chunky bits into something that's easier to clean up.
Pine Sol.
Ugh, that stuff's gross.
Yeah, it's you're out of combat and it's not earth shaking. So if the Doxalon contemplates for a bit and blood into blank. Just insert whatever,
Or into flowers! Baguettes.
or
I don't-
flour.
No,
Or-
I'm just
I was
remembering,
thinking
what was it?
myself. I'm trying not to be flippant here. These were people at one point.
Okay,
Yeah, no, does anyone here remember the game Serious Sam?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, do you remember the PG mode in Serious Sam?
No, I never played it. I know the game now.
All the blood and body chunks became flowers in PG mode.
Oh, okay.
That's why I said, okay, I didn't know.
She
you
said
know that
flowers.
specific thing. I just
She
knew-
said flowers, and I went, "Oh my god, like Serious Sam!"
Just
And I know Kira
piles
has
of
played that 'cause
daisies.
she's not an FPS person.
with
No,
that.
it's like a thing. It's like, okay, What's the safest thing that's used in funerals? Flowers!
Yeah, no, I'm
Save
totally
the
about it.
people.
It's up to you, Lloyd. What does Doxalon turn the bits and
I
blood
didn't know
and
about
gore
turning
into?
down. Oh, that sounds familiar.
Earth and dust. Something that you can sweep up.
Sounds good. It's like, no, it's just dirt. Yeah,
Before the photographer
Technically,
did
they're heading that direction anyway.
yeah. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. Scoop it up. Yeah, the business is pretty much over for the evening, Johnny.
Yeah, I think so too.
You probably will get visited by the police eventually, but they'll just like look around and go, "All right, then. Well, don't let it happen again, sir." And then they'll leave.
I think
Gears of War
biggest worry right now is you've got to worry about the SIT finding out that you've got a demon living in on your wall.
Oh, that is
I'm not
all
saying-
kinds of illegal, by the way.
Yeah,
Just,
that's,
like,
that's the
way,
equivalent of having
way
a
illegal.
machine gun mounted on your bar, dude.
Hey, I like it, so I'm not saying anything.
Yeah, fortunately,
Yeah, I
for
don't.
the SIT that may be able to quash the investigation, but even so, be careful, or you're going to end up with the Chuckles, the Spanish Inquisition tying you to a chair. So
Oh, that would be fun. Could you imagine the information they would fail to get from me?
believe me, they failed to get a lot from me. So yes,
Well, remember the last time I was taken into custody and questioned?
Yes, it was
That
quite
was by the
hilarious.
secret police.
yeah, they probably didn't tell it.
Ironically,
They didn't tell
The
it.
secret police were actually far more fastidious about respecting your rights than the Inquisition would be. The church doesn't care about your rights; they only care about your soul.
Exactly,
So,
they can do anything they want to your body,
exactly. So
and
Alright.
they can convince themselves it's good for you.
we're trying to help you.
Until you
Punch,
confess,
punch,
at
punch.
which point you're good. Once you
Alright.
confess and do your penance.
I'm gonna break for about 5 minutes because I need to use the restroom. Is that? Well, actually, we're really close to. No, I really need to go. So we're gonna break for like 5 minutes,
Good. Go.
Okay.
and we are back. Okay, so you have photographs that you were intending to give to the police. You have a floor full of kind of piles of dirt. All of your staff and patrons have fled, except for Arlene, who at this point peeks her head out the kitchen door and she says, "Is it over?"
We'll need a broom and a very large dustpan.
Well, everybody ran, so might take a little bit to get them back. I can pretty sure get most of them back, though.
I think we're done for this evening, Arlene. I
Mind if I
appreciate
call in outside help to clean up the gore? Because that's... Oh, it's dirt! Well, that's not so bad. All right, that's easier.
Broom, large dustpan.
So much easier than having to call the crews in.
Wait, were they already dirt and they turned to dirt when they died? How'd that work?
Do you really want to know?
No, I don't want to know. All right, I'll take care of it. And I'll call and make sure everybody who will come back is back tomorrow. You need me for anything else? You guys done here?
Yeah, if it helps to bring them back. What happened was because these men threatened people in the cafe.
Now, I didn't
So
notice that.
if you work in the cafe,
and you are patrons.
You're under their protection.
All right,
perhaps
that might
will
work.
help convince them.
I'll give it a try. Yeah. Does that... I'll give it a try. Good night. Close the door.
And meanwhile, I'm back behind the bar poking the mask with a pen. See what's happening.
It's dormant. I mean, it doesn't even like boom, like open its demonic eyes and look at you. It's basically just a great big carved wooden mask. You can tell that like underneath this, magically speaking, like under several layers of stay here, stay here, stay here, there's like something really awful locked inside this thing. And there's like one very narrow keyhole, which is do you speak Egyptian?
Probably.
Okay. Well, invaders are here to attack your serfs, is essentially how it translates. So if that happens, it comes out and it destroys the invaders. And it's free. Here's how this is spun. So, because demons don't like to be summoned and they don't like to be put to work. This is academically, you know this. The way you get them is you give them opportunities to run free. This one's opportunity to run free is to defend a specific geographical area and the people in it. So essentially, doors and walls are its boundaries. The room it's in, the house it's in, if it's in a house, whatever. It's looking forward to the moment when someone attacks. It wants that to happen so that it can run free in the mortal world. That's how that works. And then when it's done, it has to go back.
So it wants more thugs from the mob to show up and attack the.
It doesn't have to be thugs and mob. It could be anybody.
Anything, yeah.
It could be a jealous husband with a knife.
Yep. So yeah, I'll let Johnny know that you might want to keep the incidents of bar fights down to a minimum.
I shall post a sign.
Robbers thinking they can get away with it, with the till.
I shall post a sign.
Sternly worded.
If you start a fight in here, this thing is going to finish it.
Yeah. Well, if you're like studying it, I'll give you this too. If this demon wanted to, it could leave the mask and go back to wherever demons come from.
Okay.
The fact that it's here means it wants that opportunity. So it's like bait in a sense that it's here because it gets to do something by being here, and it thinks that the opportunity of doing that is here. Demons are bad.
Yeah, you think?
That's why I usually prefer just dealing with the mindless ones. You don't have to worry about them being anything other than appetite.
You call them the equivalent of demonic bugs.
Yes, demonic equivalent of bugs.
And demonic cockroaches and crickets. They're extremely simple. And this is a step or two above that.
Yes, this one may decide one day, I'm already here. There are people here. Done.
No, there's all kinds of layers
it's
that
not
prevent
allowed
that from.
to.
It has a very specific. It's not phrased in a what people do way. It's more in like a how people do it way. So it doesn't say they have to use a gun. They have to use a knife, whatever. So there's no loophole like somebody picks up a chair and starts beating you with it. That's okay. No, it doesn't work that way. It's like more about intent.
Yeah, it has to have a hostile intent.
Yeah.
To the people that it considers inhabitants of this place. Yeah.
Right. That's how that works.
Fair enough.
Otherwise, I should have torn Mutlin from Liam ages ago because I carry weapons in here all the time.
Wait. So the Inquisitor was right?
What do you mean?
What? That you're a Satanist and you're dealing with demons? Yeah.
Well, I'll be.
Just don't let him
Let's
catch
hope he
you.
never comes in here for a drink.
I'm pretty sure he won't, but hey.
Then he.
Well,
Dun, dun,
I
dun,
would
the
serve-
Inquisitors come in. No.
I would serve him, but he best not try to take me away.
depends on whether you cooperate or not. If you cooperate, it's all pleasant. All right, then. So you got the pictures from the photographer.
Mhm.
You're just going to trust that Darlene will take care of the mounds of dirt on the floor. And everything's going to be fine. Everything's going to be fine. Just let it go. Everything's going to be fine. right.
We've just turned the McGrebby loose on the Parain. Everything's going to be fine.
Sure, why not?
So now what? What are you going to do? You were going to give the pictures to the police. Are you still going to do that?
Yeah.
I wouldn't. The police
Why not?
probably,
At this point, stirring up shit is really the only thing we've got going for us. So
And honestly, the guys that have already been arrested, they're not associated with the people who actually did it. And the pictures
Yeah.
just
No.
show-
We want. Yeah. We want to clear their name.
yeah.
Yeah.
well, technically I don't because I hate them all. But
Well. Yeah. But.
Well, they are all criminals and thugs.
It would currently benefit us
to implicate the
allow the McGrebby to go free and implicate Montant.
yes, I agree.
You might want to let your Egyptian friend know that Montant has been causing trouble.
The horrifying
And,
implication of that is that I'm not sure if I want to let him know for fear that he might be involved. Because up until this point, none of these people, including Montan, concern me particularly. Because I know that in the end, turning someone into a badger is no more difficult whatever their rank in the Parain is. Unfortunately, if Tamos decides that he is or we find out that he's involved, he's a problem because he's bigger and better than I am.
Which is exactly why I think we should give him the opportunity to not be involved.
Yeah, that's a
What-
really flexibly moral way of looking at things.
What if he doesn't
Thank you.
choose? What if he's involved and doesn't choose not to be involved? Because you're kind of screwed if that's the case.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah, well, if that's the case, we're screwed whether we talk to him or not.
Yeah, at this point, he's bound to know that it's us because Montan knows that it's us. So, yeah, I'll dash off a quick note and have it sent to his house.
Magically
Yeah,
or
just
non-magically?
FYI, Montant has been bleeding people and is probably going to go down for it. Would he like to help?
I'm not making any, or I'm not coming to any conclusions here. I'm just going to amass the facts like we've been doing for the police and everybody else that's involved, like my clients, and just package it all up to the information that we've got up to this point and have a courier just send it all to the Egyptian with a note from me saying basically here is a list of information that you may find of use, and I'll leave it up to him to decide what to do with it.
Okay.
All right, I would ask if he would like to assist.
I don't want to poke that particular bear, to be perfectly honest. I don't want him assisting.
Hey, he was great assistant with his demon.
Yeah, he's already been quite helpful, but I just don't want to be on his bad side. I want to give him the opportunity
Yeah, I can
to,
Like I said, that's certainly a very morally flexible way of looking at things.
So as I understand it, okay, place is empty, dirt on the floor, Darlene's gone. Daxadon
Darlene.
compiles essentially another report like you gave to police, or like you gave to the vampire, like you gave to Dominique. What sweets?
Hey,
Beautifully.
Susan.
Hello, Susan. They say.
Hi, Susan.
Sweet dreams. Oh, you're not going to bed? Okay, good night. She says good night. What's this thing? Oh, so Doxeldon essentially compiles a report like he prepared for Dominique and just forwards it to care of Monsieur Thomas, and just sends it by
while he's
conventional,
compiling
mundane
it.
courier.
Yes.
Be sure to include that we don't know Montand is behind it. He could be getting set up too.
It could be somebody setting up all of the families. Yeah.
Right. But Montand did make that threat, so
He's at least guilty of trying to sweep it under the rug.
right.
Mhm.
So if this is a threat to all of the families, Montand is involved. If it is not, Montand is involved. And he's been trying to set up another family, which could lead to an inter-family war, which would be a big problem for
That's right.
Parain.
They-
And so this is why we're letting Tomas know.
That's right, because the other guy said that the three of those people that he saw in the image were Parain, didn't he?
Mm-hmm.
He did say that.
So the Parain are trying to set up the Maghrebi in this.
Okay.
And that's something that Tomas really should know. And perhaps this is all in internal disorder that they can solve on their own.
Could be, yeah.
As long as the murders stop, I've done my part.
So I'm thinking that this entire conversation and hashing out of what is or is not going on, and Carol and Leslie, are there things you want to contribute before I move things forward a bit with somebody else coming through the
Like I
door?
said, Leslie, being fairy, has decided to go off and drink with his buddies.
Okay.
So, you know,
Let's
I'll find out. We'll find out
conversation
about this
boring.
tomorrow.
I'm out. I'm gonna go get drunk with some
Yeah.
beautiful women. So,
He'll find out about it tomorrow.
how about Carol? You're listening to these guys.
Depends on how late it is, and what day of the week. If it's weekend, whatever. Well, honestly, it doesn't matter because
You're on your own time.
You're on your own little
Right.
project now, so you
Yeah,
set your own
Besides, your
hours.
friend.
And it's Wednesday, and it's actually only like 9. So
They closed the place early due to violence and demons.
but I'm sticking around then.
okay.
But I don't really have anything to add to it.
Well, there's a lot of pie in the sky, spitballing. What if this? What if that? This guy, that guy. Doxeldon is compiling a report for somebody, apparently Mr. Thomas, and around the time Doxeldon's about done with this and is gonna ring up a courier to go send it to your associate, colleague. I'm not sure what you call them. Not a patron, not an enemy, just sort of a that guy over there.
He's just
Hey, I'm just happy. It really is not
The
one of
guy
my.
who looks like a mummified dead guy.
yes. Yeah,
I'm
he's
just
That is the guy. It is true.
I think the proper term is contact.
Contact. Yes,
Yeah,
there you go.
you know.
Speaking of which,
Hey.
oh yeah, go ahead, Carol.
I was about to say, hey, this just confirms it truly is not SIT business if it's just a bunch of gangsters doing stupid stuff, and it's not even magic because it's being just made to look like magic. Really elaborate if it is, though. So
And
it
it's pretty
As far as
plausible.
we know.
really makes me want to look further into it because it's way too elaborate for this. Hundreds of people, or at least tens of people dying for this. That's
Dozens,
really
at
elaborate.
minimum,
I'm still
dozens.
Dozens.
I'm still sure that somewhere, not under the frame up, there is an experiment going on. I'm pretty
Something's
sure.
going on, and somebody's just using an opportunity has the knowledge of it to frame the other group. That's what I'm thinking. So I gotta stick around anyways. Anyway, but I don't have anything to do because, yeah, what am I gonna do? Go write up a report?
I'm doing that already.
The front door, opens a little bit. Guy looks in, not peeks in. He's not shy. He's not bashful. He's just polite. Looks in, and he looks like this fella.
We've seen him before.
Oh yeah, we have, haven't we?
Actually, no, you haven't.
No, we
Yeah.
haven't.
No.
Sean's
I thought we
character.
had.
Sean's character's met him, but none of you guys have.
Oh right.
Johnny
okay.
Diamond knows who he is, but hasn't actually met him. Like, you know him by sight in the same way you knew some other people by sight, but it's not somebody you've ever had a conversation with. Anyway, well, that's about to change, isn't it? All right, so he looks in, he looks around, and he says, "Are you open?"
Please, come in, come in. I'm afraid the staff is closed, has gone home early. Can I get you something?
He looks down at the piles of dust.
Oh, I thought Arlene swept those up by now.
Oh, no, Darlene's gone.
No. Oh, okay.
Darlene will find someone to sweep it up after you
Arlene.
guys have cleared out, and she can go back to pretending that this is just a normal club.
Arlene.
Arlene, yes, not Darlene. Arlene. Anyway, he looks at that. He looks up at you and says, "Are you Monsieur Diamond?"
Oui, I am.
Jean-Jacques Fischer. He is the head of the Pied Noir in Cameron-Mer.
Ah, I have
case
heard
you-
of you, monsieur.
In
Please,
case, only
have a
having
seat. What
two
can I get
organized
you?
crime families was, not enough for you. Now you've got the head of the third of the four. So,
Mm-hmm.
I was hoping we could have a talk.
Oh yes, of course. Please.
Have I caught you in the middle of something? This seems like there's like I've missed something important.
There was a slight altercation earlier. We have taken care of it. But please, I have been dealing with your underlings, and I am pleased to meet the man himself at last.
Well, I apologize for taking so long to make your acquaintance.
Oh,
From
think
what
nothing of it, my friend. Think nothing of it.
From what I've been told, you're a man who keeps his word,
I try.
and you have a certain sense of style. And those are two things I value.
I appreciate the assessment.
He holds up a bottle of some kind of liquor. He's like, I brought a gift. I'm sure you have no lack of your own liquor cabinet, but formalities. He hands you a bottle of liquor. It's like a Johnny Walker Blue or something like that.
Ooh, nice stuff.
Oh yeah, it's like a $300.
Overpriced stuff.
I'm sorry, what?
It's an overpriced stuff anyway.
Actually, have you ever had it?
No, I haven't.
It is really, really good. It is the only Johnny Walker that I would personally consider drinking again.
It is stupidly expensive.
Really, it is. Unless you're on a cruise ship, at which point it's $5 a glass. And I had a lot of it, and it's actually quite good.
Well, in this particular occasion,
Anyway,
the actual liquor inside the bottle is not really the point. It's more a gesture of hospitality. Yeah.
I get out some glasses and pour a round of it
Oh.
in return of the hospitality.
He looks at your little crowd of people here. He's like, I was rather hoping we could speak privately.
Oh, please then.
I'll go find a broom. I'll bustle off
Yes.
into the kitchen.
And
Please,
I'll
then,
give
my
you
office.
a hand.
It's come to my attention, Mr. Diamond. I'm not exactly sure what's going on, but you are in the middle of it.
Indeed, I have been asked to look into some rather grisly business.
Well, the vampire murders, I know that part.
And the Wolfman attack.
I'm sorry, I don't know anything about that.
Oh,
Wolfman
are you
tag.
discussing the Perrine trying to frame the McGrebby?
Am I? Is that what's going on?
Well,
Why don't you explain it to him, man?
please, you tell me.
Well, how about this?
That is how it seems to me, but perhaps.
All right. Let us communicate. I will tell you what I have heard, and you can tell me where I am misheard. All right?
We.
You've been asked by the police to investigate the vampire murders. You have done so. You've determined that both the Perrine and the McGrebby are involved in these heinous, heinous deeds. But the Perrine and the McGrebby both think that they are being framed by the other, which makes me wonder who is actually framing whom. You are the one providing this information. Are you the one framing them? Because if you are, I certainly don't object, but I want to make sure that you and I are not at odds. And I'd like to have a conversation with you to ensure that remains the case.
Monsieur,
I bear you no ill will. I'm simply
I am a very
fact-finding.
poor artist, and my work should not be framed.
Ah!
No. I mean frame as in making someone look like they've committed a crime when they have not committed that crime.
Have you no poetry in your soul, sir?
Wait. Have I no? No. I do not have no poetry in my soul, which means yes, that I do have poetry in my soul.
Then perhaps you should take my words as those of a poet.
You are
In any case,
confusing fellow.
What has occurred here is that I have been approached by several individuals about these vampire murders, as they are called. We all know that there are no vampires left in the Empire, haven't been for centuries. But the so-called vampire murders, I have been approached from several different angles to investigate. People who have lost friends. And what I find is troublesome. I track the origin of the found bodies, and I find that they have all come from, dozens have come from a warehouse owned by the Perrine.
Which the police raided night before last.
Unfortunately, they were too late to stop the wolf-man creature from attacking my friends and I, and we were forced to dispatch it to dust.
This is the first I've heard of that.
Indeed.
A wolfman, you say?
Uh,
Wolfman, like werewolf, Loup-garou.
No. My friends tell me that this was not like Loup-garou. It was something different. Those who have spent time with the Loup-garou tell me this was not one of them.
Fascinating.
You see, I have many friends who have been in many situations and survived.
Very well.
The warehouse was owned by Montand, and so, of course, he threatens me, he threatens my friends, he threatens all involved.
Because you led the police to the warehouse.
We simply followed a trail.
Who gave you that trail?
Oh, I have informants of all sorts.
Hmm.
But as you trust your people, I trust mine. Matter of fact, it was one of those who came to me for help who assisted me in this. But the details aside, the next we had was the actual taking of a person from the facility where all of these exsanguinated bodies originated when they were alive. And so we thought, oh, this individual is being taken. We should follow. This would be their new area. That turned out to be a Magrebi.
Okay. This is Faid's facility.
Yeah, so...
The construction business.
Yes, and so once again we followed the trail as would be expected. And what the police find is not the truth. Well, I suppose it is. What we find is that all of those arrested by the police were not the ones who were involved in the kidnapping and murder. It seems that some low-level Perrane took a truck from Faid's facility, used it in the kidnapping, drained a body in their facility, and left it there for the police to find.
All right, I'd like to interrupt you now, if I may.
Faid comes to me about this. His men make a few errors. They are dispatched. Faid and I are now on common ground.
I'm pleased to hear it. Let me make my case to you as clearly as I can. Should you come across... First, let me assure you I have nothing to do with these vampire murders. Pied Noir have nothing to do with these vampire murders. No one in my organization, to the best of my knowledge, has any involvement with these terrible deeds. If you should find out differently, I ask that you come to me first. First. Before you tell anyone else. Well, I mean, outside your circle of... He gestures at the people in the background. He gestures at the guy sweeping up dirt over there. Outside your circle of curious friends. Come to me first and let me know.
That is very helpful.
And allow me the opportunity to investigate from my end. Before you bring in the police.
If I find a location and do not know that it is one of yours?
Perhaps it would be safer if you erred on the side of caution and contacted me anyway. And I can tell you. I'll give you my direct number. He takes out a business card.
Snap. Oh, that would be so much easier than passing everything through Yves and Bernadette.
You know Bernadette?
We've had our occasion to meet a few times. She was quite delightful.
Oh, I would be careful swimming in those waters, my friend.
Oh,
the waters are warm, but you may find that you drown. So,
trust me, I prefer to contact Yves.
No, call me directly. It's my card. It's my direct number at home. My valet will know where to reach me.
Oh, wonderful. This is better than I could have ever hoped as a turnout for this
And
evening.
I give you my word. On this matter, I will conceal nothing. I do not want my organization to be associated with these terrible deeds. I want it resolved. Should anyone in my organization be involved, I will repudiate them. They'll be yours, or the police's to do with as you will, once they have been separated from my people.
The rest of your organization. Of course.
You understand?
Of course. We must protect our own.
Yes, of course.
Yes. One thing to keep in mind. I am a foreigner here, as you can tell by my accent.
Oh, I think your accent is a bit thicker than it needs to be. Don't you agree?
On occasion.
The Pied Noir know what it is to be the outsider in the Empire. I think that we have a bit more in common than you might think.
And sometimes it stands us in good stead to maintain that.
It is sometimes helpful to be underestimated.
Oui. But that is aside from the point. Man, he derailed me right there. Hold on, player has to get the thought back in the head.
I'm glad, because I'd planned this outside character. I'd planned this guy to be actually like the smoothest gangster. The most subtle and manipulative gangster. You guys haven't run into him because he stays out of trouble. But essentially, he's way smoother. Like all the Pied Noir, in my mind anyway, the Pied Noir are like, they're number 2. The reason they're not number 1 is because everyone wants to get number 1. As long as you can stay just behind number 1, you can get almost as much as they've got with way less trouble doing so. So that's how I pictured Pied Noir.
Okay. I got the thought back now. Go
ahead.
Well, Kemeray-Sumar is now my home.
Welcome.
Those who live in my home are my people. And we protect our own, do we not?
Well, but of course.
Now you know my motivations as I know yours. We are in accord?
It would appear so.
We protect Kemeray-Sumar and those who live here.
Well, without the city, where would any of us be?
You would be surprised at how many, even in your own organization, forget that.
Perspective is often lost.
Oui, indeed. Perspective. Exactly the word.
I can see now why Bernadette thought it was so valuable to have you as a neutral resource.
I do not take sides. I simply protect my people.
Well, if you've nothing else, I have nothing else. I've said what I came to say.
No, I would be very glad to share with you what I find, if it pertains to your folk. Or perhaps if it does not, and your assistance could be helpful to us both.
Well, let's approach those situations as they arise.
A wise man that you are. Thank you.
It's been a pleasure meeting you, Mr. Diamond.
And the same.
And he walks out. He did not come in with bodyguards or anything. No, outside there's like 8 guys. But inside, he came in by himself.
The size of a tank.
Yeah.
It's a bulletproof Phaeton or something. So,
As long as they don't attack anybody, then he won't die from the demon.
no, he came in by himself. Anyway, and he leaves. Okay, yay. Okay, it's like 10:37. Several listeners are going to turn into pumpkins pretty soon. Is there anything you want to do or say
fills
before?
everybody in that the Pied Noir. We now have the direct phone number of the local boss of the Pied Noir, and he wants these vampire murders put to an end too.
Wow, that's 3 out of 4, plus the vampires, plus the police. Am I missing anyone?
I think the only person who doesn't want an end put to this is Montand.
Yeah, who threatened me?
Is Alexander Montand is the only one I have heard not wanting to put an end to this.
Yeah, and you might be truly the one involved.
Yeah, right.
And he did just try to frame the McGrebby, and if he keeps doing that, he's going to start more trouble than anybody wants in this town.
Yeah. And I do have to say goodnight since I have to be up early in the morning.
Okay, we go ahead and put a little end note into Tomas's report.
Which is what? About the Pianois?
About how the Perrain seem to be trying to frame other families, and whoever's doing this vampire murder thing is trying to drag the Perrain's good name through the mud by trying to frame the other families. And it would really be in the best interest of the Perrain to put a stop to this.
Well, we'll see how that goes. Yeah. Okay, Doc Celadon gets a courier and sends off his packet, and it'll arrive sometime before midnight. All right, so we're going to wrap up now, yes?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, here we go. I'm hitting play. What's not happening? Why is this? It's not happening. It is not responding. There we go. This has been Rough Magic with Donald Bond Griffin, Kieran Torres, Leslie Denneberger, Lynn Montgomery, and me, the GM, Brandon Blackmore. Just be careful what club you draw guns in. Have a good night, everybody.